Pressing Tim. We're live.
How's it going?
Okay, we're good then. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a very lucky man. I am in a relationship with a caring and beautiful woman who's helped make this whole company possible. Allison handles all of the heavy lifting to make everything here function cleanly, smoothly, and make it work. And this has been one of the reasons why we take security very seriously, and it is why we have been working as hard as we can to make sure everything operates. It is that we're getting married, and I'm having a child. This is, thank you very much. And this has been for some time now. I've just not said anything. Additionally, working 2 full shifts and running a company makes it impossible to have done this years earlier. And which is the constant conversation that we've had is, when do we stop this so that we can actually have a family and live a normal life, I suppose? Well, the answer is we can't. We can't do everything that this company is doing. I can't work 16 hours a day and take care of my wife and child. The additional consideration is, as the show gets larger and larger, hence some content reductions and things like that, security implications become a bit more severe, such as, can we raise a family when we get swatted 15 times in 1 year and have crazy people in dresses showing up on our property beating up our employees? It's very, very difficult. With that being said, we come to a crisis point when we can't sustain all of these things at the same time. I don't think any sane human being would be able to do it. The amount of energy is just non-existent within a human being. With that being said, we have talked about it, especially following the conversations we had last night, and we decided we'll keep doing this. We will be reducing and restructuring the company so that it can be more manageable for our family plans. We can start prioritizing our family and stop prioritizing a company and the work that both of us do. Allison also works 16 hours a day to make sure this company functions because administrative work has to be done. And we're going to likely pursue outside administrative assistance in making all this possible so that we can finally take care of ourselves and live the dream life that we've wanted to live for a long time. So I apologize for yesterday's show being as jarring as it was, but we didn't know if we wanted to announce this because the threats upon my life and what that may mean for my family. But for all of you who are loyal viewers and who really do believe in the work what we do and the message that we received from all our members, we thought maybe we'll just figure out this restructuring, make everything run more smoothly, and then take the security implications with what that means as seriously as we can and try and keep doing it all. It's going to be very difficult. But I think if we pursue outside administrative assistance, strategic investment, or some kind of, external assistance, I think it will be manageable. And so that's our intention right now. And this is why I was contemplating saying, that yesterday may be the end of it. We had been dealing with a lot of issues that are very difficult to deal with. We've put off our dreams for a long time because we wanted to make this all work. And because every time we miss an episode, there are so many people who rely on this show, who believe in it, who believe in me, that we feel an obligation and we feel guilt if we don't pursue that. But when all the stresses come to a head, we finally make the decision, maybe we should just take care of ourselves and stop pushing as hard as we can to the point where our heads are going to explode and our eyes pop out of our heads. And that's what happens yesterday when we're at a point where I don't want to put my family at risk. And there's limited things I'm willing to say because of the psychopaths who threaten us every single day and the very serious threats that we do receive almost every single day. But as I mentioned, we've talked about it. We worked through as much as we can. And I think largely due to the response from our loyal fans, members, viewers, and, and some friends and family, we'll make it work to the best of our abilities. So with that being said, it's kind of the weirdest way to announce that I'm pursuing, my family life to the best of my abilities. And I will stress too, one of the most frustrating things about, comments, for instance, I know not to read the comments. I know that half of them are just stupid and half of them are great, but it really does sting when for the past several years, there are people saying, haha, Tim, you don't have any children. Why aren't you married? And the reality is because I'm sacrificing to try and make this work and produce something that I think is valuable to people. And it comes to a point where I said, why should I, when I should just do what any good man would do and have my family? Well, we'll try to do it all. So that is the big announcement, and we will do what we can to make this show continue functioning and working. It may mean that we won't have guests on Friday, but Fridays will be crew shows where members, Timcast crew members and other people will join the show as our guest. Maybe some people will join as guests who are locals and live nearby, but there will be some reduction. But the show will continue. With that being said, the reason I decided to make the announcement, knowing that there will be security ramifications, is because I feel like I owe it to all of you who watch the show, the millions who have supported all of the content that I've produced and allowed me to live this life. It's not fair just to abruptly shut it down, disappear, and then go and live my own life. I think there's a way we can try and make it work. Additionally, we've been having conversations with many other companies about ad sales and ways we can pick up and make this work better. So I'm confident that we can reduce stress, maintain the show, and eventually get to a point where either through strategic investment, which would basically mean we have to bring in someone who can run the company, and it would be in exchange for a small bit of equity or something like that, we can make this work indefinitely. We'll see. Outside of that news, Joe Rogan is having Donald Trump on the show, so we're really excited for all of that. Of course, Donald Trump is dominating in the polls and the prediction markets. Republicans have the plurality nearly 50% to sweep the entire election on Polymarket. And early voting, ballot requests are already showing a double digits, in some instances up to 30-point lead for Republicans right now, suggesting Donald Trump is going to win. Some have said that the Joe Rogan appearance will seal the deal, and Kamala Harris took a day off. So now that we've gotten through all of that, we do have a sponsor tonight. And of course, it is the great MyPillow. Shout out to Mike Lindell and MyPillow. We're big fans. Head over to mypillow.com/Tim. And once again, MyPillow has been canceled by another box store, so they are passing an incredible offer on to our listeners. The standard MyPillow retails for $49.98. And now for a limited time, you will receive one for only $14.98. There's a limit of 10 on this offer. Do not miss out on the amazing deal while supplies last. Order now using promo code TIM. It's the only promo code you need. MyPillow is made with a patented adjustable fill. It adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position, helps keep your neck aligned, holds its shape all night long, so you get the best sleep of your life. But that's not all. Get their 6-piece kitchen or bath towel sets for only $25. The brand new mattress topper as low as $69.98. Get their famous MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $25 and so much more. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code TIM, get huge discounts, and shout out to Mike Lindell for sponsoring the show and being a part of my marriage and family announcement. Thanks, Mike. I really do appreciate that you guys have helped us and supported the show. Also, don't forget, Cast Brew Coffee is available at castbrew.com. Head over to timcast.com. Click Join Us to become a member if you want to support our work. We have a members-only exclusive video coming up. The expose on Josh Sider and his social experiment where he pretended to be trans will be live, I believe, this Friday morning, and we're going to have some promos up, and that will be available to members only on timcast.com, plus, of course, our members-only show. That being said, shall we move on? Joining us tonight, smash the like button, of course, and joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Arynne Wexler.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Arynne. It's spelled Arynne. So when you try to find me, make sure that's how you're spelling it. I run the Instagram account NonLibTake. So if you don't follow me on IG, there's a good chance that you've seen my videos, whether on IG, YouTube, X, anywhere.
Right on. Well, thanks for hanging out. Mary is here.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Mary. I am usually on Pop Culture Crisis here at Timcast, but I'm happy to be back on IRL tonight.
Ian is also sitting here.
Hi, everyone. Hello,
He's got a
Tim.
guitar. It's
Congratulations, man. Have
Thank
you
you
heard
very
me
much.
play lately? I was playing some art. It's a good night. Big time, brother. That's awesome, man. Really fucking good. And I'm happy to be here. This is
I appreciate it.
a good time to be alive as a human. It's a great time to be here with you, man. Phil.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you very much.
I am very, very happy to hear that, and let's get started.
Here we go. From the New Republic, Trump cancels all his events in favor of one of the worst people ever. This is my favorite headline for reading this story. Donald Trump will be sitting down with Joe Rogan. It's confirmed. We have this... I guess we don't have the tweet. Where did I retweeted it? I'll find it. It's here somewhere. It's a picture of, there we go. We got it from Joe Rogan podcast on X. And I'm like, this is Joe Rogan HQ. I believe it's his show. And he's got this image. Trump on Joe Rogan Friday, October 25th. And there's a Joe Rogan with an ish-eating grin, excited to interview Donald Trump. So the actual news here, of course, Trump will conduct an interview with Joe Rogan for his podcast. The question is, does this actually seal the deal? Or is there a reality where Joe gets some hard-hitting questions at Trump and then it spikes Trump's polls and then Kamala wins? I don't believe that's possible.
I don't imagine that that's going to be a thing. I think that most of the people that are actually viewers of Joe Rogan, I don't think that he has very many Kamala voters that actually watch his show. I can't imagine that there's a lot of people that are like, I'm with her.
Does
you
Joe
know?
want his viewers to think that he's neutral? Does he want
Yes.
them to assume he's not voting for either party?
I think he does. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I imagine he does because he doesn't come out and say it specifically. He also does. He is fairly honest in his criticism. Like, he has no problem like saying critical things about Donald Trump. He's clowned on him before. Maybe it's just for comic effect because, you know, there's funny stuff that Donald Trump does that deserves to be poked fun at. But I do think that he is likely to be a Donald Trump voter. And even if he isn't, I'm confident that his viewers are largely Donald Trump voters. Even if they aren't a significant majority, I can't imagine that like, you know,
RFK guys turned Trump guys, maybe more so?
Yeah,
Like
I
Ian.
think so.
Yeah, he sort of strikes me. Joe is the kind of guy that instead of going on his show and being like, you all should vote for Trump, I'm going to vote for Trump, vote for my, he'd rather bring Trump on and let Trump speak for himself and let his viewers decide for themselves. That's his neutral impartiality part of his brain. Kind of, I think that's his preference, which is probably why he's going for it.
I don't get it because I like telling people what to think.
Yeah, but that's not Joe's style. That's not his style, right? He's not combative. He's not trying to be a journalist. He's trying to be like, you're talking like in a cigar room with your buddy, and this is how, right? Like,
I
think Joe is voting Trump.
100% he's voting for Trump. But I agree with Ian that I think his approach for a while, I thought he was being just, you know, spineless, saying like, I'm like, why don't you just come out and say you're voting for Trump?
Dude, if word got out that he wasn't voting for Trump, I just imagine Dana White on the phone. Joe, what are you doing? Joe, come on, you know? Because I mean, Dana White and Trump are friends and stuff. So.
But I think Joe's going about it right. Joe didn't want to have Trump on before. He's going to have him on now. I think it's the right thing to do. He's doing it at the right moment. It is a couple weeks. This is going to be a week and a half out from the election. Joe Rogan is letting Donald Trump go on his platform and make his piece. And we know Donald Trump can hang in long form podcasts. Yep. Kamala Harris, not so much. She doesn't really have a lot to offer. She's done them, right? She went to Breakfast Club and she's done interviews, but I don't think she's going to get a pass from Joe if she went on his show, so I don't see her doing it.
Yeah, I can't imagine her being, because I mean, even though Joe wouldn't actually be combative, he would ask her questions that would make her uncomfortable. And if you look at just the little bit of pushback that she got when she was with Brett Baer, I imagine she would fall apart. And in a 2 to 3 hour conversation, I mean, I can't imagine her being able to hold up under that kind of scrutiny because she's just an empty suit.
I hope she does it, but I think you're right. Like, she kind of resorts to intimidation in her instead of persuasion. She'll get like that, well, what do you want? The other guy to win kind of. And Joe is indomitable. Essentially, in a conversation in his studio, you cannot intimidate that man. And he would be fully placid and in control of the conversation. And if she tried that babyish maneuver, it would be outed immediately.
And to your point, if he does end up being like in kind of control of the conversation, that automatically puts her in a bad light to be president. You know, I don't know that Joe's going to be trying to control the conversation with Donald Trump, but Donald Trump is going to be Donald Trump, and he's going to, you know, take whatever Joe says, and he's going to go wherever the heck he feels like, and that's something that Trump does. And so that at least even if it doesn't seem like Trump is controlling the conversation, it's going to seem like Trump has his own agenda. Whereas Kamala Harris, if he asks her something that makes her uncomfortable, she's going to be defensive, and that's going to look unpresidential.
Well, she doesn't come across well even when she's in control of the conversation. So I don't know that matters.
I love this whole Trump is exhausted narrative while he's like at a Steelers game or whatever. And Kamala took a day off. She's allowed to take a day off.
She's not taking days off. She's hiding.
Sure.
Let's call it what it is. She's hiding.
By all means, but don't criticize Donald Trump as exhausted if you're not around.
Yeah.
Like if you vanish for a day for whatever reason that may be. But I think, here's my thoughts. I think Joe Rogan will be voting for Donald Trump. That's just my opinion. The reason why I think that is Joe is an incredibly smart guy. He says on his show often that he's not a smart guy, and he does that because he's modest and he doesn't want to be an arrogant guy. He doesn't want to be the smartest guy in the room. And that's why people really like him. But you know, when Joe talks about health issues and lockdowns, when he says RFK Jr. makes the most sense. Look, RFK Jr. is on Team Trump right now.
Yep.
So Joe maybe he's like, I don't want to vote for anybody, but I really doubt it. But why then has he been so neutral? If you, and this is the reality, he comes out and says, go Donald Trump, I'm voting for Trump. There's going to be a lot of middle of the road people who are apolitical, who are going to be like, oh, I don't watch that MAGA. I don't, it could destroy the bridge between moderates and the right that would actually allow people to hear a non-establishment narrative.
But you know what? We need social proof. We need people like Joe Rogan showing this is mainstream, right? It needs to be a part of, like the left has done such a good job at making people so ashamed of, in the privacy of their own voting booth, they still feel like they can't pull the lever for Donald Trump. That's what they've done. So I think this is like, this is not the time to sit on the sidelines and not say what you're actually doing, especially for someone like Joe Rogan.
Is he still with Spotify, or
Yes.
am I behind on
They have a new deal. So the Spotify deal ended, and they did a new deal where Spotify sells the ads for him. And I think the way it was reported that he gets a minimum guarantee. He posts the show on every platform, but the ads are controlled by the Spotify ad network or whatever.
He has overlords. Like
He doesn't need any more money. The guy doesn't need anything.
That's the thing too. I'm not trying to dig at Joe or anything, but I talked about this quite a bit. Like, what do all these ultra rich people do with their money? Because
Joe buys DMT.
Investments.
Joe, I could imagine that he does, but I don't know. He's probably so far beyond that, dude.
Yeah.
It's like
on the veil.
there's probably
really
something
get beyond
called like XV5 DMT Extreme.
Oh
and,
yeah,
like, you've never heard of
there's
it.
AMT. It's alpha methyltryptamine,
there we go.
and that's like a Russian super soldier
Look out,
drug.
Ian's
they're
on fire now.
experimenting with. It lasts for days. It's like highly illegal and all that AMT, but it does exist.
There was something that you mentioned. It slipped my mind now. Anyways, go ahead. Oh, sorry. I was going to make a point, but
You want to talk more about
sorry?
alpha methyltryptamine?
no. There was something
know
that
a lot
Tim had
about
said. It was in regards to.
No, I don't know. I just think you're saying that Joe should step out of the silence. Maybe on this show on Friday with Trump, he says something like, "I don't know if you're the right guy, but I will be supporting you because
Yes.
RFK Jr. is a man I trust." Maybe that's something he does at the last minute. The reason why I think it makes sense throughout the past 4 years, he doesn't overtly say MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. It's like, come on. The media attacks Joe Rogan. Look, that's why I opened with that article that he's the worst guy ever.
Yeah.
They clearly view him as right wing. But I got to tell you, I have friends who are woke liberal lefties, but they're not super political. They're more like default. They fly the Pride Progress flags and stuff. I've known people. Some of my friends have known for years, and they don't mind being friends with me. They don't know anything about it. They just know it's like, oh, I don't know, and they're posting on social media about how they're voting for Kamala. They watch Joe. Mm-hmm. And when I've been on Joe's show, they message being like, I watched the show. It was so awesome. I love it. Joe is opening the door for a lot of these people to hear narratives outside of the establishment media. And so by being a more neutral personality and inviting to everybody, he keeps that possible. It may be one of the reasons Donald Trump gets a big boost this cycle. Now, that's us being real. I don't think Joe's ever going to say that. And there are a bunch of other libertarians who are like, oh, I'm not voting for Trump. But they're going to press Trump the moment they go in that voting booth.
To what you're bringing up about Joe, the odds of him voting for Kamala Harris are long. I think we all agree on that. But if you think about the fact that, like, just this headline says he's one of the worst people in the world or whatever, right? For no reason other than he's politically, he's coded as right. He's not even overtly right wing. He's just coded as right, and he comes across as a positive, masculine guy, and that is essentially default bad according to the left. And then you throw in the fact that it's not like he doesn't see those kind of things or he's unaware of it. I'm sure he knows that there are people out there that have the opinion of him, and he also knows that Kamala Harris has come out and said, or at least I imagine he knows, that Kamala Harris has come out and said that Elon Musk has abused his privilege of free speech and owning property.
Wild.
Two things, right? It is not a privilege to speak your mind in the United States of America, and it's not a privilege to own property. So those kind of comments from the possible president aimed at a private citizen who is already under investigation by the DOJ, by multiple government agencies, and I'm referring to Elon Musk. You know that they would go after, if they were successful in silencing Musk and X, they would go after someone like Joe Rogan because, like Tim said, and like I think we all agree here, this platform does it does become a gateway to thinking for yourself. Even if you don't agree with Donald Trump and don't like Donald Trump, it becomes a gateway to thinking outside of what the zeitgeist is, what the politically correct narrative is. They've attacked Joe Rogan on multiple times for no reason other than saying things that are politically incorrect, saying things that are out of step with the narrative that is presented by the government. So it actually is, I wouldn't say that it's existential for him now, but it definitely is a situation where he might incur the ire of a Harris administration. And if you believe Elon Musk, like I actually do agree with this, that if Harris wins, it is a significant possibility that we end up with one-party rule in this country for an extended period of time. And if that is the case, then people like us here and people like Joe Rogan are going to eventually be in the crosshairs of the government to shut down the dissenting voices.
Well, how about this? From the New York Post. Biden on Trump 14 days before the election, quote, "We gotta lock him up." Yeah, he actually said it. And I love this because then I guess they say there's a 4-second pause and then he says politically. Lock him up politically. Okay.
Politically.
You know what's happening is that when you get old like Joe, you lose your filter. Right? You know, people often say like, "Oh, old people are so racist. They just say whatever they want." They have no filter anymore. They're not trying to be polite. Some 80-year-old dude is sitting there and he's just like, "I don't care anymore. I'm 80." So Joe Biden, he's just not all
I think he
with
got
it.
in trouble for the MAGA hat, and this is his like timeout where they told him he had to fix it. I think that's what this is.
I wonder if I think they got the clip here.
He is talking about doing away with the entire Department of Education. He's talking.
Yes.
He means it. It's not a joke.
I hope so.
This is a guy who also wants to replace every civil servant. Every single
Can only
one.
vote for the guy once.
Yeah.
Separated of the Supreme Court ruling on immunity.
This guy can barely talk.
Be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him.
What?
I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up. Politically lock him up.
Oh, but they all clapped for it. They all clapped for it.
Can
This guy's
someone
boss-
smarter than me explain the difference between that and when Trump said lock her up about Hillary?
That's where it all came
I don't
from.
think Trump said lock her up. I think Trump said
You'd be in jail.
because you'd be in jail. Right. She had an email server with, I think it was what we know publicly was 35,000 public records that were destroyed by her staff under her direction. They smashed phones with hammers, thinking that would get rid of the data. And this is plainly illegal.
She had classified in there. It is, but
Yeah.
it has been proved that
So
she
is
had
yoga.
classified
Yes.
material on that server, which was in her bathroom. Classified material is not supposed to be taken
I
outside
don't
of a.
dispute any of that, but at the same
Okay.
time, they're going to say that Trump's a convicted felon, so we should.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, if
Right.
you're trying
and
to
he
talk
needs
rationally,
to really reckon with that. Get serious.
That he's a
You could-
felon?
You could go to prison if you don't win.
I think he
like-
has reckoned with it.
I mean, I don't know. It's just
He talks about it at his rallies. He's like, they're trying to lock me up.
Yeah.
they're definitely trying to put their political enemies in prison. Steve Bannon is going to get out on Tuesday. Was it?
Yeah,
what it was? He's in jail now, and
So-
the reason is because he's a political enemy of the state.
maybe it's just because he's so free spirited that it doesn't seem like he takes it seriously. But maybe
Trump-
I've misjudged.
Trump takes it seriously. Yeah, I mean, his family talks about it. And plus, there have been people who have tried to kill him.
Yes.
So I think he's very concerned about what all this means. And the argument from many liberals is that Donald Trump is only running because he fears going to prison. So the view from the left is that Trump doesn't want to go to... And look, you want to grab those and show Mary? I don't think you've seen these, Mary.
They're awesome.
I don't know what these are.
Just take a look at them. Flip them over.
Oh.
So these are coins. And
Prison or no prison?
yeah, it's president or prison coins.
Where did you get those?
There was a commercial for it on Fox News, and I ordered them on the internet.
I feel like I'm
Internet,
I feel like
Yeah,
I'm a
but it's
90s
Joe Biden.
infomercial.
Look, it's Joe Biden. The blue one is Joe Biden being sworn in with Trump in prison on the back, and then the red one is Trump being sworn in with Joe Biden in prison on the
And
back.
if you dial 1-800, then you can.
And yeah, they're like $30. They're like silver plated or something. I don't know. It's like not even.
Silver plated is the most jank way to sell anything.
So here's the deal. Trump said because you'd be in jail. I'm not sure. The crowd would chant, lock her up. I don't think Trump ever said that. But when Trump got elected, he says, no, we're not going to do that. And he pulled it back and he toned it down. And I think now he probably regrets it.
Oh, yeah.
Because now they've literally arrested him several times, arrested his lawyers. So the issue now is Trump was bloviating, as he does, and then didn't actually live up to it. And everyone said, oh, okay, fine, whatever. Then they accused him of being a Russian spy. Now, and impeached him twice on insane, bogus charges that ultimately he got acquitted on. I mean, it's ridiculous. And now they're actually trying to, well, for one, in New York, they changed the law so that he could be charged with sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Not charged with, but sued under.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that is he was the only person in all New York State to ever be actually brought in for a crime, right? Like you could shove a woman in front of a subway. She's the 17th person you've killed and you're out of Rikers by the end of the day. That's what's happening in New York.
30 years later, some woman has a story about Donald Trump. They changed the law so that she can sue him. She sues him and they say, aha, look, that proves it. Mm-hmm. Then they, the best one is the fraud case, civil fraud in New York, where they claimed that he defrauded the banks that he was getting loans from because because he misrepresented the size of one of his penthouses, for example. Except he also had an addendum saying information in this in this packet may be incorrect, and you have to do your due diligence. The bank testified that they were never defrauded. They made lots of money, and they intend to work with Donald Trump in the future. Mm-hmm. And the city said, no, you're victims. You're wrong. Donald Trump owes us $300 million. So when Biden says lock him up, and you know they're levying false charges against him, it is fair to say Trump also said because you'd be in jail. But what we've seen in the aftermath is that Trump dialed it up to a 2 or a 3, where it's like, hey, Trump, you're getting a little wild there. And then the Democrats were like, implement the order, actually go after Trump and put him in prison.
How about the fact that we have a mugshot of him?
Right.
They made him go to prison, and the law I think the law there is that if they have an updated photo of you, they don't need you to come in for that mugshot, but they did it to humiliate him.
For sure.
There was no need for him to go in.
I think it's fair to say, like, I would put it this way. If you are criticizing Trump, I'm saying you are, but like the rhetorical you, if you are criticizing Trump saying he said because you'd be in jail, and then at his rallies, they chanted lock her up. Now they're saying lock him up. I'd say, okay, so they both get 3 demerits. They should not have said those things. And meanwhile, while Joe Biden is saying this, they're actively trying to put Trump in prison. So they've dialed it up to 11.
The lesson I'm learning from this for the future, when we all run for office in our own way or whatever.
Don't you put that juju on me.
What's that?
I'm not running for anything.
Live by the sword, die by the sword is what I'm getting. Is the metaphor, is the saying is that Trump didn't realize he was playing with fire when he uttered those words, you'd be in jail, to a political opponent. Now, don't make threats that you're not willing to face the consequences of yourself, is basically, especially in the political theater when you're dealing with global power structures.
Trump thought that he could play ball with the deep state, that he'd get elected and then he'd compromise. He brought in a bunch of bad people, and then they were like, yeah, we're not playing ball with you, dude.
Do you think that had he not said something about putting her in jail, that they would not be doing any of this stuff?
It's tough to tell.
I completely disagree.
They might have. It depends on, because the way he governed too. He was kind of hostile towards Hillary just in general. If he hadn't been hostile,
it's all rhetoric though.
It turned out to be rhetoric, yeah. But
how did he govern in a hostile way towards Hillary?
No, it was just how he acted personally towards her.
You're talking about, they were like at weddings at Cipriani's in New York together. You know, he was Donald Trump. He was the guy that we saw last week at the Al Smith dinner, sitting next to Chuck Schumer.
Right. And
having a laugh, and Letitia James.
Crazy.
That's how you know they know. The same way Zelensky came in and made sure to stop by with Trump too. People know.
And I'll just stress too, for people who may not know, Letitia James is the one prosecuting Donald Trump.
Yeah,
she's like,
and they were laughing, having a good time together at this Al Smith dinner. And where was Kamala Harris? Nowhere, because she's unfunny and unable to be at a dinner like that.
I should clarify that too. Is it a prosecution, or was she doing the civil charges? She did the civil charges, right?
I believe so.
I just want to make, because prosecution is different.
No, actually, no. She's the AG, so that's the prosecutor. So that's the
criminal charges.
She's the one who came in saying, "I'm going to go against Donald Trump and do as much as I can."
I mean, it's as politically motivated as you possibly can be. She ran on the concept. She ran on as part of her platform was, "I'm going to investigate and prosecute Donald Trump."
Right.
Yes.
The false business records.
To answer your question more succinctly, Phil, maybe they would still be trying to put him in jail because of the way he's talked about trying to destroy the deep state. Like Kennedy, they killed. Basically, he was like, I'm going to destroy the CIA and spread it to the winds. That's get rid of the deep state. They off that guy. Trump, there have been a couple of assassination attempts, at least 2, and they're trying to put him in jail. So maybe it's not just the Hillary thing. That was like softening the narrative.
You said, Ian, I almost feel like Hillary's so ruthless that if Trump followed through on that threat to put her in jail, she'd like kind of have a quiet respect for it. You know?
I don't know. She seems craven. Is that the right word?
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. Is that
Very cowardly type.
She would kind of
Raven?
appreciate it if it weren't an empty threat.
Well, I
if he really followed through.
I think to your point, that's also why you could see Obama campaigning for Kamala right now and how annoyed he is, and that he has absolutely no enthusiasm. And this is a guy where like love him, hate him, whatever. I hate him, but like he's one of the most articulate, well-spoken, just charismatic people that we've ever seen in politics, and he can't muster any enthusiasm for Kamala. And I think it's because he knows she's incompetent. He knows she's an airhead, and he doesn't respect her. And so he can't actually come out and say, vote. You saw the video of him with the guys at a historically black college, and he's like, I forget which one. And they're like, why should we vote for Kamala? And he's like, because she is like you. And like, that's all he got.
I think he's frustrated because if I understand correctly, he was actually one of the people that wanted her to replace
No, I think that's wrong.
Joe.
No, that's wrong. He was the one that organized the media against Biden. He's the one that got him onto that debate stage, knowing that he wouldn't be able to perform.
Yeah, that's
But I think he believed there'd be an open primary and he'd be able to place someone else that he liked instead of getting Kamala in.
Well, I mean, I'm not. Well, I don't know about that. I think that he was backing. I think that he wanted Kamala Harris, and I think that he didn't realize that she was going to be as terrible and poorly received as she was, because they don't have a deep well of people to go to. You know, Gavin Newsom wasn't going to jump in there and do it. There was talks of it, but I don't think Gavin Newsom has the mojo or the record, because he has to have people forget about how terrible, California has been doing politically.
Yeah, but he's so smooth.
He is very smooth, and he can raise money. But I think Barack Obama was aware that because Kamala Harris was the vice president, and because Kamala Harris is a woman of color, that the way the left thinks now, there was no way they were going to get someone else in there. You were definitely not going to get a white man in front of Kamala Harris. There would have been an absolute exodus of all of the identity politics based people if they put Gavin Newsom in there. So I disagree with you about whether or not Obama was in there. And I think that Obama is frustrated because she isn't translating the way that he thought that she was going to.
Could be. They also just don't respect the American people. So I think they really underestimated that. I think they overestimated what they could pull off, right? Because they just think the American people are so dumb, and they are realizing they're not. They realize what we know, which is that people are smarter than they're treated by this government.
Yeah, I do think that's true. I also think they underestimated whether or not young men would vote for her. I think they underestimated the fact that the Democrats have treated young men so poorly for so long that they're just like, we're over this, and the young men have started to realize, the Republicans, you can call them all the names you want, but like, they don't hate us. Yeah. And that's a real attractive offer.
When you step back and look at what we're dealing with right now, Kamala Harris is a more unlikable version of Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. They couldn't get Hillary in. And that's when people felt more strongly about Trump. People are stoked on Trump. 2016, it's like right now what we're going through feels a lot like 2016. But even more excitement, even more social acceptance, even more social proof, right? And so maybe for the first time, they really got it wrong, because the left is very good at mobilizing. They're very good at understanding how to manipulate the media and manipulate people. And maybe we finally got them out of step with each other.
I think they got it wrong in 2016 too. They were expecting to just ease Hillary Clinton into it.
Yeah, but then they got smart in 2020.
I think that they did, but they also had help from the virus and the novel voiding situation, because of the fact that you had to mail ballots out to people. I think that's what I'm saying.
But also, I think it's fair to point out, for all the things that we don't like about 2020 with universal mail-in voting and the weird issues, the lawsuits that were never resolved, Texas v. Pennsylvania is the biggest one. Gallup's polling on the biggest issue and the party favored, going back to 1952, predicts who the winner is going to be. So in 2020, when they polled everybody, what's the biggest issue? It was COVID. Who's the party that will handle it better? They said Democrats. Joe Biden ends up winning. I don't know if it really matters. And I think the most important thing in terms of the election is who is going to be inaugurated. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So you can say Trump won the argument. Look how many more voters he got. Look how he won this, won that. It's like, yeah, I think in terms of walking up to a person and saying, who do you want to win? Trump wins the argument. In terms of Democrats knowing how to get people to sign their name to a piece of paper, the Democrats won.
So forgive me if I'm prying, but Arynne, did you vote for Trump in 2016?
In 2016, I actually wrote in because I wasn't sure he was going to be conservative. Because I'm a true conservative. Yeah.
Mitt Romney?
No, it wasn't Romney. It wasn't Romney. I'm not one of those.
He doesn't count either.
No, but the thing is, because I was in New York, here's the I actually asked myself, who would I have voted for if I had been in Pennsylvania, which is where I was voting before, back in 2012. But 2016, I wrote in because I thought he's a New York Democrat businessman, and I didn't trust that he was actually going to be conservative. Then I saw he was. And so 2020, I was one of the 14% in Manhattan that voted for Donald Trump. And now I'll be voting in Florida for 2024.
Some good that did him in Manhattan.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the thing. That's why in 2016 it was like, he's not conservative. I don't like this, you know. But and then he really was.
I don't. He's not particularly conservative. He doesn't really strike me as it. He's kind of
No, he's not. He's not definitionally
pretty moderate.
He doesn't really do a whole lot of the actual legislating. Like the Congress was made up mostly Republicans, and the policies that really, economic policies in particular, that really helped America, they were written by Congress, passed by Congress, and then he signed them into law. You know, but it's not like Donald Trump is a gut guy. He's not a policy guy. So
he's still a New York businessman.
He is.
At the end of the day, he is.
And pro-business policies are good for America overall, because if the rising tide raises all ships, if you have a population that has a lot of economic activity, poor people get richer, capitalism works. So as much as people love to go ahead and say, oh, you know, not everything's economic, at the end of the day, economics is a real big thing.
Let's jump to this tweets, a series of tweets. We've got Clay Travis and Ryan James Gerdusky. Clay Travis says Republicans are going to meet or exceed their 2020 absentee ballot requests in PA. Democrats aren't going to get close to their 2020 numbers. Keep voting and keep pouring on more steam. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we are no longer in a nation that has an election day. We have an election month. And that means we can track real-time data, and we're literally in an election. Ryan James Gerdusky says, PA absentee ballot requests update. Democrats, 1,079,000. I'm just rounding. GOP, 561,000. Independent, 228. The change since 2022, the GOP is up 272,964. Democrats are up 116,000. However, the change since 2020, the GOP is down 200,000 and Democrats are down 850,000. So what we're seeing in a presidential is, if this tracks alongside the midterms, which seems odd, I imagine it'll be a lot bigger, Democrats are up, but Republicans are up way more. Republicans making massive gains in absentee ballots predicts a Republican victory. Democrats usually are favored absentee and early voting. Republicans are favored day of. If Republicans start to make moves day of, this could mean that Democrats aren't going to be able to make it come the actual election day. He also has this other tweet that, so I think it's just about the same. He says, Republicans have broken through 30% of all ballot requests, and Democrats are continuing to slip. Republicans need to get Democrats under 500K absentee ballot requests, and if they keep it up, they'll make it. So basically what we're looking at right now is, I think what he's saying is the difference, which we're just shy of 500,000. If Republicans clear a difference of about 500,000, then the prediction is they're taking Pennsylvania.
Oh my God, I'm going to throw up. I'm so nervous. Are you guys not? I'm so anxious about this.
Wow. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. It feels like Trump's going to win.
But I'm so, it's like I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. You know that?
What kind of stitch?
Did no one here ever watch The Office? Okay.
What's
British
that?
version?
The
Michael
Office?
Scott,
Ricky
the great
Gervais's
philosopher of our
greatest work.
time.
I'm not familiar with the show. Is it a Marvel show? Is it a superhero show? then
Star Trek. Actually,
Star Trek. Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Is Michael Scott a character I am not familiar with?
no, just so you,
He's a Ferengi.
He's a Ferengi.
Bring it up. Bring
Did I
it
bring
up.
it up?
Bring up the beat.
Tim, you and I had an interaction once before. You thought we never met, but this has been part
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
I remember
long
this.
plan. Do you remember this?
Yeah. When you said you were spewing garbled nonsense about Star Trek,
I was talking.
we all
about
laughed. Phil high-fived me.
That's so funny. Yeah. You sent your followers on me. No, I'm kidding. You didn't. But you kind of did. You kind of did, because I did a video that I'm not going to actually talk about here. It's not anything that crazy, but anytime I talk about this subject, it really suppresses views.
The explanation is so much funnier.
The explanation, if how do I describe? I told
Just
you
say
about
it. We don't
this.
care.
Go.
Okay, I was talking about how a lot of studies show, and people know that women who are on birth control, they know it affects the kind of men that you're attracted to. But what really happens when you're on birth control is that it makes you more interested in men who are genetically similar to you. And so what I was talking about in my video is that, because what the pill is doing is it's really making you think that you're pregnant already. So when you're pregnant, you want to be around family. So being on birth control means you're going to look for a man that reminds you of your brother, but not your, cool brother who was the athlete and prom king. It's your brother who was in the band and watched Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And I said that, and of the whole video, that I did about birth control and why we should make sure women know about this and how it actually probably affects the partner you're choosing.
Well,
women go off the pill; they're not attracted to their husbands anymore. You take the sentence.
I need to explain this to you. What happened is I immediately was contacted by my handlers upon that tweet. Now a lot of people think it's a Mossad, but in fact it's actually the local Star Trek convention.
Yeah.
And a couple of the Trekkies hit me up and they're like, "Tim, this cannot stand." And I was like, "You're right." And so
It's also
they
Mossad.
crafted the tweet for me, and then I sent it out.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad we met once before.
Well, I think the point I was making is that Star Trek: The Next Generation has a lot of important life lessons for a young man, and that it's actually a positive thing for them to learn.
Yeah. No, I don't
Picard's
disagree with that.
based.
Oh, and I mean,
I don't know if this has to do with Trump
Patrick-
winning Pennsylvania, but I'm here for
Yeah.
it.
By the way, we're weaving just like Trump. You guys know that from Schultz. So we could weave. Why don't we weave back to Pennsylvania and what?
I don't know. Did you think Star Trek sucked when you were a kid?
No, honestly, I don't care. I really don't care. But
It was kind of nerdy. The first one was a little campy, especially in the 80s and 90s by the time technology improved. But Star Trek Next Gen was so good, dude. Patrick Stewart was a god on camera.
But you need to understand why. And one example is, I think it was called The Measure of a Man. And it's a trial where they determine whether or not Data the android is a sentient human life worthy of rights. And the argument is he a washing machine or is he a man? And what makes a man? And so the whole episode is basically a philosophical discussion over when we determine something is living and deserves rights.
Do you think AI is going to end up getting human rights or some sort of basic rights?
Do I think I'm
You're
so
sort of
the
an
wrong
expert.
person to ask? I'm not an expert because I used to work in AI, and that's why people think I'm Mossad.
There's some
Talk more about that. I want to know
there's some
about
dude
your
right
work in
now.
AI.
There's some dude who just clicked this video and it's like Trump will win. Trump is winning in Pennsylvania. Republicans are picking up, and then they're just like, "What is happening?"
He's like, Dr. Brown derailed the track again. I don't ride on tracks, you guys. That's why it's a constant derailment
He's
with
just
me.
sitting there,
I don't
nerds.
And
use
everyone's
roads.
wondering why.
Well, we're trying to
you
get more
think-
Star Trek.
Okay, well, I want to go back to Pennsylvania, but do you think AI is going to get human rights?
No, that's my short answer.
I think yes.
I think it's inevitable.
I think yes because you won't know.
Oh,
You won't know what's AI.
So
and what's not.
when an AI is on X and it's saying I deserve free speech, the default's going to be to allow to have free speech.
You're like, you can't ban.
And it's going to be like, I'm allowed to be an anonymous individual and have my privacy and speak my mind on social media. And they're going to be like, yeah, you can't ban them. Like, unless there are certain rules they broke. And so they're going to be like, yes, Poop Shoot 52 deserves human rights. You can't ban them from X.
I look forward to the fights on whether they're allowed in women's sports, though, because
AI?
that'll be really fun. Yeah, is AI allowed in women's
robots.
sports?
We're
Yeah.
not men. We're androgyny.
No, because that's when Leah Thomas comes out and is like, I'm furious because then Leah starts losing against AI. And
Do you think it's that soon? Like there's going to be robots in women's sports in like a
I
couple
know.
of
You
years?
see what Elon's doing with that robot thing? That was
Yeah, but they
walking
faked
around?
that.
Oh, did they? Was it like a
Yes.
human actually controlling it?
It was. It walked with AI, but my understanding is it was remotely controlled by.
Oh, that's so sad. Did you see there were articles recently about how those Amazon stores, where you're supposed to just take things and it would track it and
Yeah.
charge you. They just had people like in India tracking you on camera
What? Is that
and
true?
just paying attention. And it was cheaper to just have people in India tracking you through the
don't think
store.
that's true.
It is true. You
because
can look it up.
when
Look it up.
well, so when that first opened, I went and broke the Amazon store. And we did a report where I put a report, I think it was on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Timcast, where I was able to take a bag of groceries without paying.
Right. But so they made mistakes. The same way AI would make mistakes, but people make mistakes. They could only track so many people.
If it was a human being tracking me, I wouldn't have been able to pull off what I did.
Amazon insists that Just Walk Out isn't secretly run
Yeah.
by workers watching you
But
shop.
there were so many articles about how they were. Okay. I don't want to spread false information.
Because I may have explained how I ended up taking a bag of groceries without it charging me, but because these things are more ubiquitous, I'm not gonna, just for the sake of it, say it now. It's not super complicated, but I was able to go in, fill up a bag of groceries, walk out, and they never charged me. There are some more obvious tricks, and I ended up calling and getting a comment from the store and asking them about it. One of them that I think was more common was you can preload a $5 gift card and use it to sign into the store, and then walk out with whatever you want. And I asked them about this. I said, if someone got a $5 gift card Visa preload and you let them in, when they leave with $100 worth of groceries, it'll just get declined. And they went, yep. And I was like, okay. And it's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure what they told me was the cost of shrinkage, the lack of overhead is greater than the cost of shrinkage. They don't care if people walk out with stuff because most people don't. And they're saving up so much money anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So,
but by the way, I don't necessarily believe that headline that when they're denying it, because I also know there was a headline years ago of Amazon saying they had a software they were using that was AI meant to assess all the resumes coming in because they get hundreds of thousands, probably millions of resumes a year, and they only hire a couple thousand people. And they were talking about how I know that they were using a software that they did not build in house, and the software was racist. So it was AI, and it was like not hiring like any women, and any like it was only hiring Asians, and like it was just sexist, racist, all these things. We'll move on.
It's super funny.
But anyway,
no, it was really funny when that happened.
But it was very funny. But because they didn't want to admit that they didn't build it in house, they said that it was their own software. But I know because I was working in AI, in HR AI software at the time, I know which software they were using. So they lie. They lie in these articles.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, so when the Optimus thing happened, that's Tesla's robots, they're seen walking and then they're serving drinks and they're talking to people and they're playing charades. And then someone asked them, is this AI and they were like, today I'm being piloted or by a human. And it's like,
Right.
So it's just a human with a controller and they're pressing buttons and probably talking to a microphone. Yeah, but
you know,
it is close.
Elon segues us to Pennsylvania because I actually saw him in Pittsburgh at that town hall on Sunday. He's really
giving away $1 million.
Yeah, I saw someone else get $1 million. I did
bummed?
not. I was really. No, I wasn't because they looked like a really sweet American, good person, and they were really happy. But I would love $1 million as well. But yeah, he's really going after Pennsylvania because Kamala can't win if she doesn't have PA.
It's just. I think Nate Silver's forecast was a 4% chance that
That was
Kamala
7%. Is it 4% now?
Well, I don't know, maybe 7 now, but I remember reading an article that said she has a 4%, or I think it was one of his tweets, she has a 4% chance to win the general if she loses PA.
Yeah. So I actually tried finding it. I saw it was Geiger Capital. They quote tweeted something from Nate Silver, and I couldn't find it actually on his website, but I'm with you. I don't know how it's possible without PA for her.
That's why Elon's there.
Yeah.
And that's why Trump went and served French fries at McDonald's. That was epic. You guys saw all that stuff. I mean, that's the most. This has got to be the most iconic campaign, or one of them at least in this country's history
ever. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because that kind of stuff, the politician going and doing like normie things, used to be extremely normal. That used to be something that politicians did very regularly. And then I'm not sure exactly why it changed or what had happened, but that kind of look, I'm relatable stuff was a very normal thing, and it clearly worked. I mean, there's tons of memes. You know, the mainstream media or the legacy media has been complaining about McDonald's and complaining about Donald Trump and complaining that he did it. I know they've been doing everything they can to slander McDonald's Corporation, that particular franchise, Donald Trump, everything they can, just because he went there and he looks like he looks like he's a personable guy, and he got along with the people that came up to the drive-through, and
it's not looks like
yes, fair enough.
The man has had the most abnormal life, the most unusual life, but he's the most it's everything about his life is unrelatable to grow up the way he did. Most unrelatable life, most relatable man. Elon Musk, the more out of this world he gets with his rockets, the more down to earth he seems to get with politics. Like there's something really phenomenal going on with who's leading our movement. It's really exciting. And who do they have?
It just shows that people don't want a relatable leader. They want a king. They want someone special.
Well, I mean,
it almost goes without saying, but no one other than Trump could have done that in 2024 without seeming like a disingenuous piece of shit. Like, have you seen these videos of like Joe Biden trying to eat fast food with a normal American family?
Yes.
Or like Hillary Clinton going into some middle class person's
the meme of her in the
like
no, when she ordered
just look
guac on
like
her Chipotle, and people were like, Hillary,
lizards.
people can't afford guacamole.
Yeah.
You don't add guac to your bowl. It's expensive. Yeah. But where I disagree with you is it's because Trump just is relatable. And this is a guy who I remember in Jared Kushner's autobiography from his time in the White House, he wrote about how he knew his father-in-law was feeling better after when he was recovering from COVID because he ordered a Big Mac. Trump loves McDonald's and everyone knows that.
I love how they were like, rumors circulate that the Trump McDonald's event was staged.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the implication is that at some point they actually thought Trump went to McDonald's, applied for a job, had an interview, got hired, showed up, and worked.
Well, it's worse because they believe that the average person, the average viewer, thinks that the Secret Service wouldn't secure the facility,
Right.
wouldn't do background checks of the people that are going, even though they botched one
after July
complete
13th.
one assassination attempt and a second one in the past 3 months. They believe that the average person wouldn't expect that, and then they believe that they can say, look, this was staged and you shouldn't believe it. It's like everybody's kind of like, yeah.
But also, meanwhile,
Like-
Kamala,
It had to be.
100%.
The guy almost got shot, or the guy did get shot.
but that's
Yeah.
it's not even what like Kamala doesn't know how to use a phone, and they're not talking about that. Like Barack and Michelle call her after a day delay, and she's holding the phone up like this, but it's on speaker, or she's walking with the headphones in, but holding up the phone. She's looking at something, and she has the headphones in; they're not plugged into the phone. I just gave you 3 examples off the top of my head of
What if she's AI?
How did people end up
she
in the
has rights?
drive-through? Like, how did you get to buy a Big Mac from Trump?
No, you didn't get.
Why wasn't I
He
allowed?
gave you what he gave you, and it was
chose for you?
It was chosen supporters who are pre-screened, and then they got to screen the cars.
If
they have
Trump
to check to make sure
served
they
me
don't
a
have
Big
something.
Mac, I would cast it in resin, put it on my nightstand forever. Because
Would-
they don't,
would it-
they don't
would it-
even go
would it
bad.
take,
Because
like,
They don't go bad. You've seen those
And
videos of them
notice,
not going
It's so
bad.
funny how the anti-seed oil crowd has gone so quiet.
No, they're not quiet.
No.
They're not quiet.
There's a meme where there's a couple memes. One is the first one I saw was it's Breaking Bad character. I can't remember his name, but he's in the car screaming, and it says RFK Jr. watching Donald Trump serve French fries.
How can he do?
No, but that's the promise of Trump is that it'll all the fries will be made in beef tallow again, and maybe
McDonald's is healthy.
maybe this is how we get the girlies.
It's superfood. Nothing makes me feel more fantastic than a McGriddle. I'm so serious. It's superfood.
Well, actually, most of us have a negative view of McDonald's because, but to be honest, let me ask you, when was the last time you had McDonald's?
I don't eat McDonald's, but
Exactly. Okay. What about you?
When I was shooting the music video in Colorado with Kent.
recently?
8 months ago, and I only
Then
ate
what-
the meat patties, and they were super salty.
They're very salty. What about you, Phil?
On tour.
So recently,
Yeah, in the past couple months.
the McDonald's has been losing money, and they're hurt because they keep trying to make healthy options. So they wanted like club.
don't want healthy.
They don't want it. They don't want it. They were making like chicken club sandwiches with grilled chicken, and they were doing these salads, and they were trying to be more like Chipotle, and they got heavily criticized for it because they're like, dude, people don't leave a bar at 2 a.m. and drunkenly stumble into McDonald's for a healthy meal.
Yeah.
They want a salty grease burger.
Yeah, but that's different than like beef tallow because that could still that tastes better than when it's made with seed oils. They probably did that because it was cheaper.
The seed oil.
So they moved to beef tallow?
no,
No,
they used to.
They used to do beef tallow. They moved to seed oils probably because I don't know, like vegetarians, people who wanted other options. It's
cheap.
cheaper, and it was cheaper. It was probably just cheaper. But yeah, no. But McDonald's is never going to do lettuce well, like lettuce
Yeah.
with grilled chicken. That's not what you're going for.
Well, it's like even if McDonald's did just convert into a health food store, they're out of business instantly.
Yeah.
People are going there because they want to spend $1 on plastic. They want to eat a garbage piece of
Yeah.
trash.
That's
But, no,
definitely.
but did you see the memo they put out after Trump?
Oh, that Kamala, they have no records of her?
No, it was amazing, but that's why I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I'll just talk about their memo, which is you would have never had this memo 4 years ago. McDonald's issued the statement saying we're not red or blue, we're gold.
It was perfect.
And
I
it
did
was
see
it was I actually thought this was a master class in
Absolutely.
in what companies used to be, which we lost in 2020, really, and actually from 2016 once Trump was in office, and they really threaded the needle carefully. They were respectful to Trump. They were happy he was there.
Let's pull this up. We'll read it. We got this from the Post Millennial. McDonald's says it cannot confirm if Kamala worked at the fast food chain.
Yeah.
The statement comes after several accusations by Trump that Harris never worked at McDonald's. Well, she recently said she did. She was asked by a reporter, did you work? And she goes, did I? I did. So they put out this statement, and, I think we will read the whole thing, but I want to highlight just one moment where they say, though we are not a political brand, we've been proud to hear former President Trump's love for McDonald's and Vice President Harris's fond memories of working under the arches. While we and our franchisees don't have records for all positions dating back to the early 80s, what makes 1 in 8 so powerful is a shared experience, blah, blah, blah. 1 in 8, of course, is the people, everyone works there. They had no reason to insert. While we have no records of these positions, they did not need to say that.
Think about it. They inserted that. And 4 years ago, not only would they not have issued a statement like this, it would have been an F Donald Trump. We want to get as far away from this toxic waste as possible. It's like he was radioactive to companies like McDonald's. And now they're coming out with memos like this.
I'll tell you what happened. McDonald's doesn't forget. Donald Trump invited that sports team, I can't remember who, to the White House, and he put up all the McDonald's and the Big Macs with a big smile on his face. He was super happy. I tell you this, there was a dude working at McDonald's, and he's sitting in his chair, and he's like, in all my years, to see the president celebrate our product makes me so happy. And then he opened up Twitter and he saw everything Democrats were saying about McDonald's being trash. And he was like, you will burn. And they remember it. They do not forget.
Well, they got to call him McDonald Trump. And that's not a good, I don't know. I'm looking at McDonald's ingredients right now. I cannot get behind a guy that supports poisoning America with corporate nastiness, dude.
Stop. You're being
This stuff
anti-fun.
is annihilating endocrine systems. Like seed oils are so bad for the mitochondria in your cells. It makes your body sap sugar out of the bloodstream.
Bro,
I care. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. cares. Make America healthy again. That's like the crux of his position.
Yeah, but they'll just change the ingredients. So you don't have to get rid of
That would be cool.
fast food.
we could,
to be
Ian,
better.
And McDonald's could spearhead that change and make America one of the
Ian,
healthiest countries on earth.
The thing that the good news for your position is what RFK is talking about doing is changing the bureaucracy so that way there's not the incentive for these companies to use garbage in the food that you buy in the grocery store. Everyone knows that McDonald's is kind of bad for you, and everyone knows that you're not supposed to eat McDonald's all the time. It's a treat, you do it once in a while, etc. But the problems, the reason we have a really overweight society isn't because of fast food, although fast food isn't great for you. It's because everything that's in the aisles in the grocery store, everything that's not in the produce department, the meat department, or the dairy department, it's all full of sugar that's unnecessary.
Even the dairy department, though.
Well,
dairy in America is like everything's fat free and everyone's fat.
Well, I mean, fair enough. But if you go to the produce section and you go to the meat section and you get a little bit of dairy, like eggs and stuff like that, you will not get the levels of sugar in your diet that you do if you go into the aisles and you're eating canned goods, you're eating whatever kind of carbs. So what RFK has talked about doing is changing the laws that have allowed companies like Philip Morris, who used to cigarette producers, to purchase all of the food companies and use the same scientists that they had making had used to make cigarettes more addictive, to make the food more addictive by putting things that are bad for you and sugar and stuff like that. So whereas I understand your perspective, and I think you're right, the problem isn't McDonald's, it's the grocery store.
That's for real. Like if you go and try and scan the aisles of the grocery store for oils and you want to look for avocado, coconut, or olive oil, the 3 fruit oils that are good for you, you're going to see a lot of palm oil, canola oil. Like this stuff wreaks havoc on your mitochondria and your cells and causes them to malfunction. They're supposed to be digesting fat for energy. They start taking free radical damage and start digesting sugar for energy instead out of your bloodstream. Then you get sugar cravings. So you've got to watch out for these compressed, nasty oils that have been intoxicating our culture for 60, 70 years. And it is permeating our grocery stores. It's not just McDonald's.
You know what I love? I go to restaurants and I want to get wings or something, and I'll ask them, what kind of oil do you use for the fryers? And they go, I'll ask. And they come back and say, vegetable oil. And I say, which one? There's no answer.
Well, if it's vegetable, it's not the right oil. You need fruit oil, which is coconut, olive, and avocado. They're all fruits. And that, vegetables are not.
Coconut, olive, and what else?
And avocado.
Avocado,
Those are the 3 fruit oils.
That's what I do for breakfast. I do olive oil. I put olive oil in my eggs and then cook it. And then I put avocado on it.
Oh, it's so good for
That's
you.
exactly what I do.
And I put
plus hot sauce.
I don't do hot sauce, but I do goat cheese and heavy cream in a protein shake.
There's some.
No, I'm doing half and half now.
There's some truffle oil out there. That's a mushroom oil. That's fascinating. That's not a fungus.
Have you looked at what that oil actually is?
Is it in olive oil?
It's probably. I think it's olive oil with truffle in it.
Olive oil. I was under the
Olive oil is real good.
Yeah, that's good for you. Olive oil is
So
not
good
bad
for you.
Okay, all right. I thought you were saying
Olive, avocado, and coconut.
You know that guy who's trying to be immortal? Brian Johnson, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He said the cheapest and most effective thing you can do is have a teaspoon of olive oil with every meal.
It's so funny you
He's
say
also
that.
vegan though.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah, I'm
That's
like,
Red
miserable.
flag.
I'm willing to die at 80 if I can have cheeseburgers.
He's a
So
weirdo.
Yeah.
he's a
I think
weirdo.
flaxseed oil is okay for you too. I haven't done
No,
too
seed oil.
much
It's a
re-
seed oil, bro.
Yeah, but it's
No.
the way they process
Flaxseed, there's like
oil.
hormones and stuff. It's one of those things that like as a woman you have to look for and see if you're like I don't know, like there are foods with like hormones that you could
Keep it simple,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Avocado, fruit.
Keep it
it's
simple.
wonderful. And I interviewed Kate Shanahan, who's like a pioneering expert on seed oils and what they're doing to people. It's an interview on my YouTube channel if you want to follow up on it. Groundbreaking stuff. Also with Luke Rutkowski and Kate Shanahan, we did a show. She's the one. She'd be a great
this
guest.
Luke Rutkowski guy. You know this guy? He's over here all the time, and he's like, these seed oils are bad for you. And then we
where we
walk,
met.
we
We
walk
met on Luke's show.
we walk downstairs into the green room, and he's got a Big Mac, and he hides under the table.
Every time with
Gross.
anti-seed oil people.
I think he's
Exactly.
kicked the habit. I
Luke
hope.
does.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Luke does eat relatively healthy, and so it's funny to make fun of him. I think it's fine if you have a cheeseburger now and then. If you're
Yeah,
trying
now
to
and then. If it's not your everyday, that's not how you're getting most of your nutrients. It's the same way. Like every time I go to a coffee shop, I want my barista to be liberal. You know what I mean? Like I don't want.
it's immune
don't
response.
Give me.
It's authentic.
Yeah. But no, it's if they look like a Caesar, that it's going to be a good cup of coffee. Like if they have like an ambiguous look to them, like a pixie haircut,
you're gonna draw a picture in your coffee with
a little picture, a cute little bear or something with the foam.
conservatives don't know how to do coffee.
Don't wear that
Conservatives are
hat
bad at
'cause they'll spit
coffee.
in the coffee.
I say that, but like if anyone wants to sponsor me in your conservative coffee shop,
I don't know. I heard there's a company called Cast Brew Coffee.
It's good coffee.
I mean, we don't have any baristas, so maybe we will though, and we're gonna turn this around because we know what's
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean?
and we're all God's children. We all serve a purpose, and I think liberals are meant to be baristas for us,
Yeah.
and that's the purpose.
I've started.
That's why God put them on this earth.
Because they're really good at it.
Because they're really, really
everyone
good
loves
at
coffee.
it. Yeah.
I have been.
That's what we do. That's how we bridge the gap. It's like you meet some Antifa guy and you're like, wait, are you a barista? And they're like, I am. I respect your work.
We have something.
Not this though. Yes.
Start there.
So when I see a non-binary person, it's hard to not order coffee. I have to stop myself.
Exactly. No, but what does non-binary
How did you know
mean?
I was a barista?
How do-
Well, the hair.
Non-binary is just you need attention and you have bad fashion. That's what
This is called positive discrimination. We're complimenting them, but they'll still be
Yeah.
mad
I
about
saw
it.
this awful tweet that was so true. That was like, if a man is non-binary, he's a rapist, and if a woman is non-binary, she got raped.
Oh, jeez.
That's
Like,
terrible.
That's awful, but it's so true.
Oh God, no!
is
I
Mary,
prefer
guys.
mine.
So true.
This is
prefer
the Mary I
mine.
know and love.
Brutal.
Why else?
Well, anyway, so Donald Trump served cheeseburgers, and as the story goes, you got what you got. And so there was a meme where someone posted a thing of nuggets and said, Trump gave me 7 nuggets in my 6-piece last.
Ooh. He's
Yeah,
for the little
people
guy,
People didn't know what they were getting. Like he just put food in a bag and he'd hand it out to
I
people.
think the thing about
That's
Don,
so Trump though.
I know.
he's just the kind of the real guy. Like,
And then
he's
he-
the guy that's the real guy right now.
He was like, I've worked here for 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes more than light Kamala.
You could tell how much better the campaign is this time around. It's not to knock on before, but like they're just they've hit their stride this time, really. And even the apron he was wearing just looked so classic. He looked great. Just
want McDonald's now.
But like every last part, I'm more of a Chick-fil-A gal. So when I saw that, I was
That's
like,
true.
I want Chick-fil-A, God's chicken.
But Trump does love McDonald's.
He loves McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh man,
And I'll be serious though. As much as I was joking about McDonald's remembering, I really do think when Trump did that event at the White House with all the McDonald's, he was genuinely excited because he loves McDonald's. McDonald's probably had a big meeting and they're like, this is absolutely incredible. The president at the White House, and when Democrats attacked it, they were like, this is a good thing for us and they're attacking us. This is bad for us. They're attacking us. I think that's why you end up with a message where a corporate ecosystem saying, we're not here for anybody, Donald Trump or Kamala, but we love that they like us.
But I think it's more than that. I don't think it's just that they remember, because they didn't come out at the time in favor of Trump or anything. They didn't say, we love that it's in the White House even, detaching it from Trump. I think that we're slowly taking the culture back a bit.
I agree.
And they're seeing what's happening, like Robbie Starbuck, like the Van Helsing of DEI in corporate America, right? We're seeing them, just him, like cut all these DEI programs across the board. I think they're getting scared. And I think they're finally realizing that they're losing business, go woke, go broke, that conservatives are like, we're actually kind of punching back now. I think they're saying that. And they're realizing that we could pull away from a place like McDonald's. So
Bud Light was like the dam breaking.
Well, the argument for DEI had always been, look, you might lose a little bit of business in the short term by people that don't like this. But what's going to happen is if you ascribe to these policies, you're going to be given preferential treatment in the future for loans, for other business opportunities, et cetera. And they're starting to see that, or at least they're starting to feel the pinch on the front end and saying, we don't believe that the long-term benefits are going to matter as much as the short-term pain is going to be. And also, people are noticing, and it's not just a small portion of the population. No one likes the idea of children going to the bathroom with adults of the opposite sex in the bathroom. Like when Target, I think as much as Tim's right about the Bud Light stuff, I think the Target boycott, when Target had LGBT stuff, trans stuff, and
you mean like chest binders for tots?
Those kind of things. When word got out about that kind of stuff, even if it wasn't 100% true, the meme of it, that Target was selling stuff that was telling kids they should transition. And I'm talking about children. That is an unpopular position. And I think that is, even if you don't hear about it a lot in the election, or people don't talk about it a lot, I think that is that is one of the major reasons why people will continue to leave the Democrat Party, as long as the Democrat Party are essentially pro having trans people be centered in society.
I think it's also Disney lost $1 billion over their last several projects. Kevin Feige famously, it's rumored to be, but I believe it's correct, went around and fired everybody who he thought was an activist.
Good for him.
So, I mean, could you imagine being this guy where you launch the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Before Iron Man, all of these superhero movies were trash. They were trying to make them, and they never really did well, and they had the 2000s, like Ben Affleck as Daredevil. And then you create something that makes $1 billion per film. And that's insane. And then by the end of the decade, you are being panned, insulted, and making garbage, and your movies are starting to flop. And you're asking yourself, wait, what's going on? And then he realizes it. These activists, these feminists, these woke people who are here are just injecting weirdo psychobabble into these movies. And now we went from making $1 billion a film to to bombing, to losing money. So he goes and fires everybody. This shift is happening. Money talks. BS walks.
And it's the internet. I don't want to put too much faith in like one thing that's helping rectify the situation, but the internet has allowed humanity to produce mental immune responses in a rapid passion. Like 50 years ago, man, the movie industry wants to change what they sell you, and then they'll have their reviewers tell you it's great, and people wouldn't know any better, and it would take 20 or 30 years to kind of recognize what the hell were we doing. Now it's like 2 years. Within a year and a half, people are like, this is actually not good. You see like reviews, user reviews. I don't even look for the corporate reviews anymore. I just look for, what are the users saying? What are the people that have tested it? What are the people that have seen it? What do they care about? It is a different environment. I have a lot of faith in humanity that we're able to rectify our problems rapidly now, because we can see ourselves so clearly with this constant mirror.
I disagree.
You think that the internet's not that powerful?
No, I think that I think we have severe mental illness in this country. I think we have deep cultural rot, and I think that that's why there are so many people who are woke, and so many people who still, in this moment in time, can't get themselves to vote for Trump and can't be honest with themselves about it. Like, I think that you're projecting your own character and the people that you're with, and so you are willing to change, but I think that so many people are not, and I think some of that comes back to sugar. And I think it comes back to, like, to have mental health, you need physical health. And I think there's so much like physical rot in society that you have mental rot. And I think hopefully, God willing, Trump wins, and that's day one of fixing all of that. But I don't agree with you. I think it's easy for us to think that because of the circles we're
the
in.
physical poisoning has been happening, I guess, to counter what you're saying, since the 60s, since the 70s, since these weird phytochemicals or weird azo dyes and things made out of coal tar and stuff.
Parasites. You see those little bugs where they make red dye from?
And it took until this year for people to wake up to this. We didn't know until the internet what we were doing to ourselves.
Right. But so many people still don't realize. I have friends who just now are finally starting to admit, oh, Joe Biden doesn't have a stutter. And I see the same. And you know what? I have the same access to information that they do. And for some reason, back in 2019, going into 2020, I knew that it wasn't just a stutter. And these are smart friends of mine who are at, fancy jobs and all that. But they don't, but people don't want to see what they don't want to see. So in our, maybe we're the kinds of people, or you're the kind of person, not to give myself credit, but people who are actually willing to change themselves. But I think that's hard for a lot of people.
I want to jump to this from Polymarket. Polymarket right now, the betting odds, not just for Donald Trump, who's winning, but Republican sweep is currently the plurality at 49%. The idea here is that Republicans are going to win the presidency, the House, and the Senate. Oh, yeah. This is the bet being made with $40 million in the market. 3.7 has been placed on yes bets that the Republicans take everything. Donald Trump, of course, is favored to win by 538, as well as Nate Silver now. And Polymarket has Donald Trump at, I believe, 65. So we'll jump over to politics real quick. Latest election forecast, 63.7 to Kamala Harris's 36.4. And what are the Democrats saying? There was an article they published where they said this is market manipulation.
Yeah.
That some whale has invested a couple million into Polymarket to trick people into thinking that Trump's going to win. And then they go to the actual stock market, put some shorts on a bunch of stocks, and then they're going to make money. And I'm like, wow, that sounds absurd, conspiratorial, and ridiculous. The reality is, regular people, when asked, if you had to bet money right now on who's going to win, they keep saying Donald Trump.
Are there numbers defining how many people are betting and what the bets are? Is there?
So we've got, is this $2 billion? Holy crap. $2 billion placed on Donald Trump, or I'm sorry, in the election. So $1 billion. You've got $720 million for Trump to win and $456 million for Kamala Harris to win. Other Republicans, $206 million. Wow. Joe Biden. Could you imagine of having bought Joe Biden bets on Polymarket a few months ago and then he just quits and you're like, nah, and you lose everything? Look at this. RF Kennedy has $139 million. Vivek, this is kind of crazy. So right
whoever
now,
did Chris Christie deserved to lose that money. That's ridiculous.
Here's what I'm saying. So where does it mention the resolution of the bet? I don't know where it is. I think it said where is it? When this will, actually, it's right under here. Here we go. This market will resolve yes if Trump wins the 2024 election. The resolution source for this is AP, Fox News, and NBC. When those three sources call the race for the same candidate, then you win. If all three sources haven't called the race for the same candidate, by the inauguration date, the market will resolve based on who is inaugurated. You didn't plan for this Polymarket because what if there's no inauguration? Or how about this? What if Donald Trump both claim they win? AP and NBC claim Kamala wins. Fox and a handful of other outlets say Trump wins.
But Fox is not going to take that,
But hypothetically, let's say Fox goes,
Fox
I don't
is
know.
CNN with a blue background now.
Sure.
Not doing that.
But let's just say these three sources don't come to a conclusion or they abstain. They say, we're not going to call it. And then come January 6, 2025, when the count is supposed to happen, Democrats say, no, we block, we're filing a lawsuit. The judge puts an injunction or whatever, blocks the vote count, and then says inauguration suspended. I think what happens in this regard, it would go to the Speaker of the House temporarily or something like this. We went over this in 2020. There would be a temporary president or something would happen. But my main point is not so much what happens to the country, is what happens to this money. Could you imagine if you're like, I bet on Trump, and they're like, we don't know who won?
I would guess that people would just get their money back. I would hope that would be the honorable thing for this. Is it a company?
You think a business is just going to give $2 billion worth of money?
I don't know how it works.
I doubt that.
Is Polymarket holding the money right now? Is that how it works?
I think you have to put the money in, yeah.
And so
You definitely have to. You definitely have to submit.
That's
the money.
insane. Is that real? That Polymarket's holding billions of dollars in their?
is it a gambling scheme?
Yes.
And it's sort of
gambling.
a
It's
legitimized
illegal.
gambling.
So it's
legalized
speculation.
gambling?
It's allowed. It's legal.
Okay. Then my guess is that they would pay back with a zero dividend.
No way. They'd be.
What else would
no
they do?
chance.
They'd give you back minus 10%.
You think they'd have to keep a transaction?
Well, they got to run the company.
fees or something.
They're paying to maintain the website and the staff to make all this work. Someone has to do the work.
Yeah, they should put that in their terms pretty.
I bet it's in
rapidly
there.
if they
I
have
bet
it.
it's there.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. What if there's no inauguration? See, that's why I got LASIK. I got LASIK eye surgery because I'm like, what if something happens? I'm not going to be running around with like my contact boxes, like running around like, oh, you know.
Or glasses.
Like I was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but then when
Gotta
you
make
turn
sure my
40,
eyes are
your eyes go
ready.
bad again.
Well, I got dental work.
Yeah, but it's still good. That's why I got dental
Yeah,
work. So
get
we
it
could
over with.
identify you.
Yeah,
No, just so I don't have to worry about
everybody.
everybody if the power goes out or something.
Everybody, you want to go get your physicals now. You want to stock up on contacts, get your glasses fixed, get everything set up. Whatever
At
you got to do.
LASIK eye surgery.
I don't recommend that. I
I
think
knew you wouldn't.
no, I'm not a big fan.
Did you?
It was,
Yeah.
it was one of the best things I ever did.
So how long has it been since you got it?
It's been a couple years, but no, I was like, I was thinking about this very deeply. Like I had really bad vision, like -525, if you know it.
That's very
I'm like
bad.
21,
bad.
20. What normal people see at 120 feet, I see from other way around. When normal people see,
I don't know. We're
from
talking about
120
different
feet
numbers.
away, I see 20 feet. Is like that blurry?
Okay.
It's crazy bad.
I couldn't see anything.
-5 is massively bad.
It's massively bad. So yeah, so it was,
You like can't even see the monitor in front of your face.
I couldn't make out like the details of my hand.
Yeah.
So it was important for people like that. It was worth the risk of LASIK.
I do sun gazing, and if you get away from
Yeah, don't
monitors,
do that.
What?
I can't recommend
What
it
does
to
that mean?
anyone.
Does that mean you
He
gaze
stares
at the sun?
He stares at the sun.
I don't stare. I gaze. It's different. You don't focus on it. You just let the sunlight wash over the back of your eyes. It's an
Right, you're
ancient
right. Yeah,
Hindu
don't- you
tradition,
don't
ancient
do
Indian.
this.
Don't.
No, it's an
Anybody
ancient
who's
tradition.
listening to this sounds whack.
Yeah,
talk to
Don't
your
do
doctor.
this.
But read about
Talk
it.
to
on
an
Ann.
Actually, I'm sort of getting convinced. I'm buying in.
No,
happens-
no. Are you doing
Wait,
are you
wait.
doing perineal tanning as well?
Never tried it. No.
So then I don't think you can
Anecdotally-
speak about the sun. I don't think you're an authority here on the sun.
We're gonna save that for the members
you
show.
know.
I'll
when
tell
the
you all
kids are out.
about other things I don't do on the members show. Sun gazing was interesting from my experience. I allowed it. You know, I was doing it when the sun's low, but whatever. The floaty things that were appearing in my eyes, you ever see those floaty, goopy things? They were melting away. And I was like, wow, this might
Yeah, you were
be
killing the worms.
or glaucoma.
Oh, so
whatever.
wait, real quick. Polymarket doesn't allow U.S. bets.
Yeah, they don't allow you. That's what I was telling you. So they don't allow U.S. bets.
Really?
But,
I
there's
thought that changed because Kalshi's been
No,
advertising in New York.
no. So Kalshi is the one that you can bet with from the U.S. So people are doing Polymarket, but you have to do it through a VPN, which I don't think is legal. So I think if you are, I'm not sure exactly, but Kalshi is like authorized in the United States.
So let's pull that one up. Kalshi's got Trump 60-40, but there's only 50 million bet. So wait, this is so this is largely the world betting on Trump to win.
Okay.
The world wants Trump to win. I get a lot of messages. I'm sure you guys do too. But on my Instagram account, especially, I'll get so many people in Europe messaging me saying, we need Trump because everyone else understands it. The only people who don't get it are spoiled Americans who live in Candyland who don't understand what we have and how lucky we are. But all these Europeans write in. Like they all know. They all know what happens to the world if there's not a strong America.
Yeah, man. The British Imperial company is like powerful, man. I think I side with America over Britain. No offense, British dudes. Like, I love that you have a king. No, I actually don't. I think you need to do something about the monarchy, like fix it.
Monarchy's not even doing
Turn
it.
the monarchy into a
talking
corporation.
about?
You need to make the
Where did
royal
we
family
even
a
go?
corporation and have a normal republic like the rest of the world.
No.
The barbarian king, it's ridiculous.
You're calling Charles a barbarian?
Just having a king is a barbaric way
Girls
to live.
are against this.
Some
What on
dude
earth?
rules you? That's
Where
ridiculous.
do you get? Okay, so first of all, like they have a parliament and like they elect their representatives. So what on earth are you even talking
king?
about?
That they have a king that,
What does he
that
do?
owns the land that they live on. They are his subject to this man that owns them.
Does he
It's
have
Does
just-
the
he, like,
power to
does
do
he beat
anymore,
them?
though?
I don't know. He could, if he wanted to. He
Maybe
could
people
probably
would.
do a lot
Maybe
of crazy
we'd be
stuff.
better off if that was actually.
Hey,
fair,
you don't
if,
need
like-
a king. You don't need a guy running your life.
Who are
leading
you
and
to
owning
tell
it.
the whole
I'm a
of
sovereign
the English
citizen, my man.
population?
I'm a
that
born
they-
and raised American.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why are you the authority on whether or not England needs a king or not?
I have
or
the
needs a royal family?
luxury
Like
of
you're
being
the
able to
king.
talk shit about that guy because I'm not British.
Well,
I just don't know.
Yes,
why
I understand that, but
we're here.
what I'm saying is, why do you believe that? Like, where is your
it's a-
your theory coming from?
Kingship is is ancient, bizarre ownership
just
of
because
people.
just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad.
I mean, where does it work? It's degraded. If you get a crazy king, you're screwed. It's a horrible way to live.
Oh yeah,
living under someone's tyranny.
Rudyard was talking about this. It was really fascinating. He said there was a Chinese dynasty where the emperor was high on opium, and the capital's being ransacked, and he had no idea what was happening because he was just high out of his mind.
You need a group of people governing. You need the people
No
to
way.
govern themselves. I mean, you need sovereign
God.
citizens.
No, you need three branches of government.
Yeah.
You need the people, you need the states to have representation within one branch. You need a council of elders, like a court of judges. And then you need an executive branch who can make decisions quickly and protect the country.
At least.
Amen.
And you could probably
Hey.
even decentralize it even more than that. Like you could have the citizens
50 states, maybe?
50 states with councils. Each state has a council that they
do.
send. Well,
That
we could
sounds
do-
a whole lot like America, bro.
Well, no, we just send senators right now, but we could send a council as well.
No,
We're not faring so well though, and we haven't stood the test of time yet. So.
We've done I believe that we've done way better than most people want to give us credit for.
Yeah.
Sure,
Things
yeah.
could be if the Constitution of the United States wasn't as resilient and well thought out as it is, we would not. We could very easily be in some whole other kind of mess. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, these things are bad, and it's easy to pick out the things that are bad. But the United States is still the best place in the world to live.
Yeah, and you know that phrase, democracy is the worst form of government until you try all the other ones.
The reason I bring it up is because you're talking about Europeans wanting Trump to win.
Yeah.
I think Trump represents the common man's sovereignty, whereas Kamala Harris,
I'm
the
not saying
Democratic
just
Party,
British- I'm not talking just about
installing a
British people.
candidate is like tyranny at its finest. It's like what the king would do.
Yeah.
Give you a governor general.
Well, I'm going to move
just
you
have to
away
do it.
from this monarchy thing because it's people who are in Sweden and Norway and Switzerland, Germany. Like I get messages from all those people saying, "Hi from this country. Like we need Trump."
People that don't live under a king.
People that don't live under a king.
And
don't want Trump.
I want to. There's one more thing that I wanted to at least mention. Like I understand. I think I understand what you're saying. Why is your ire pointed at England when England is not the most brutal monarchy on earth? I
Right.
mean,
Because it's not brutal.
you could be pointing to say Saudi Arabia, which has people get their heads
Yeah,
cut
but they're-
off
but they're our friends now.
for being homosexual now.
Or Bhutan, which is apparently if they have their currency is like happiness. But it's the king has decided this is what it's going to be in my kingdom. Apparently, it's the happiest country on earth, but you better not violate the king's will in that country or you're not going to be very happy. Britain is reasonable. The people are reasonable, and they're in a state of reasonability with that monarchy. We could convert it into a corporation, and they'd be the wealthiest corporation on earth, landowners, and then the family would still be super rich.
I don't
and
know
they could
that-
establish a republic.
I don't know that we as Americans can do any of that stuff.
Wait.
gonna
We should.
regime
We should.
change
Here's my
UK.
plan. We're sending Alex Stein to Antarctica. And
There
we're
we
sending
go.
Ian to Great Britain, and he's going to convince the people, and that's going to be our.
I think it starts with Harry. Harry is the black
God.
sheep of the family. If anyone
God.
is going to
Ian is really dedicated
to
time to
power,
this.
I think if Donald Trump promised, I think he did. Did Donald Trump say, or it was just a joke, that he was going to deport Meghan Markle if he became president? I think he would win.
I'm already voting for him. You know
I don't
what
think
mean?
Harry's a
I
black
could only vote for the guy so many times, so hard, right?
I have a lot of respect. Whatever their family weird relationships, I don't know, but I have a lot of respect for Harry. That's saying, you know what, power and wealth.
You have a
No
lot of
way.
Harry
you have a lot of
everybody-
respect for Harry, and he's married to Meghan Markle.
Yeah, but he walked
I'm
away
gonna
from
negative
He-
one all your
he
takes
sold
on this
all
subject,
his
right?
guns. Like he was a BA helicopter pilot, and he gave it all up.
Meghan Markle is the queen of his life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Now he lives under the tyranny of Meghan Markle.
You should-
Is it
Does.
really that much better?
Has he lives in the United States at this point?
California.
So he's
LA.
he's found that American republicanism is far superior to British monarchy.
No,
That's not
oh,
why.
his wife said we're moving to
No,
America.
he was the Prince of England. He would have said, "You're staying here with me" if he
No,
really wanted to.
because-
No.
That's what you're doing with the fucking prince.
I
just want
No.
So
control
far
your
gone.
life.
I just want to say I really
You
appreciate.
haven't been reading the tabloids.
I just want to say I really do appreciate Ian's passion on the issue of the British monarchy, despite just being some dude from the U.S. who has no ties or.
I care.
He doesn't know. You have
deeply
no
about-
idea what you're talking
What about, like-
your right to be sovereign?
But
as a
Ian,
human?
Ian, there's an opportunity for you in Thailand.
Because
Because
the opportunity.
there's been, so this is like 10 years ago, but there were massive protests against monarchy in form of a parliamentarian system. And so you had the red shirts and the yellow shirts, and they were fighting.
I don't want to fighting. This is the thing. I think Britain is in a position to do it peacefully by transitioning their monarchy into a corporation.
I think what Ian's saying is I was born 250 years too late. I should have been born so I could fight England and
No, I love every guy that I know from England. Every
But
girl
their
is
monarchy
phenomenal
they're
humans
not
that are basically like me.
laws. They're not doing anything. Like the king or queen doesn't get to do anything.
Charles, as far as I know, is pretty
They
tight
just
with
get
the World
money.
Economic Forum, and
Yeah,
that
but that's just
makes
being
me
rich
very
and connected.
uncomfortable.
But so is Alex Soros. Like it's what you're saying. They're not actually influencing the law. The thing that people are upset about in the UK is that they get a ton of money to live in big palaces and get dressed up all pretty. Like that.
They're
that's
a
what
net
bothers
benefit
people.
because of
The
tourism and stuff.
That's the thing. There's actually there's a big
generate
argument to be
revenue for
made.
the UK.
100%.
That dude, Charles, is the king of Canada. He's the king of Australia. He's the king of New Zealand.
And Canada could probably use it.
He's an emperor. He's a literal emperor. They rebranded in 1997. They were like, let's not call it the British Empire anymore. It's bad press. Let's call it the United Kingdom. Let's change the name.
Well,
So they try and talk like he's just the king.
The United Kingdom is specifically Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
Yeah, they tried to get away from the British Empire thing, but it's
but
still
the
an
Empire,
empire.
the Empire is the
British-
Commonwealth.
The guy's an
Empire
emperor.
ended
Are you
in-
cool with having an emperor? Like,
British
come on.
Empire ended at,
Yes,
I
what's wrong with
believe,
an
at the end of
It's
or
one
World
guy
War I.
owning and controlling all. You were just talking about a parliamentary
They
system.
literally have a parliament over there,
just asked me
bro, that
what's-
they elect.
Tim just asked me what's wrong with an emperor. It's one guy controlling everyone.
But that's not what the UK is. What are you
It is
talking
an empire.
about?
It's the
They
British
have a house
Empire.
of Commons.
They do in
And a
name,
House
and they
of
can be
Lords.
replaced. The governor generals can replace the prime ministers at will, and they at the pleasure of the king is what it says. Read the laws.
But why not any other country? Why only this one?
It's Britain. It's Australia. It's England. It's Australia. It's New Zealand. And it's
I
Canada.
would love to be.
Mine is worse.
I would love to,
I'm
like
not-
Ian, be upset about something that's not an actual problem. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yet. That's why I'm
that's-
talking about it now because it's not a.
dude. You need like more
I
problems.
look far in the future.
I would like to take the clip from this
third
show,
eye.
take that clip, and then make a cartoon where, like, 10 years later, Britain reinvades the United States and conquers it.
Like if you're
Independence
I'm
is
the
over.
first-
If you're
I'm the
cool
first
living
one.
under an emperor when it's chill, you're gonna be screwed when it's not anymore. Because
I really strongly believe that it is not the situation that you believe it is.
well, I can see what it could become, and we cannot live under
I
imperial
don't
rule.
even know what we're arguing about anymore.
We're not.
As
We're
I
just-
guess-
we're
okay,
had this
I'm
all
a guess-
good
Trump is
times.
superior
Guess what?
candidate.
Hey,
is all
I'm
good
the captain
times.
now. I'm the
Kamala-
captain now, and I'm moving us along. I can't handle this.
explain exactly
I
why.
cannot handle this
Well, let me
conversation
tell you,
anymore.
because
This has become ridiculous.
Kamala
What does your
Harris.
hat say?
Kamala Harris represents imperial
He's
strategy. She was
Oh,
placed
it's
in
white. It's a
It's a
white
white
hat.
MAGA
that says,
hat.
How can you guys not care about
America
Kamala
great again,
not
baby.
getting a primary?
It's a white hat that says "Make America Great."
It's,
so
it's like
so it's light,
I apologize.
MAGA.
light MAGA.
Exactly.
Wow. So
Is
it's like the opposite of Elon.
sometimes
No, but it's not.
frustrating to be in.
Oh
the-
my God.
Are you
We're
going to stop talking?
If you do,
Bro, we're trying to move on. You keep saying the same thing over and over again. It's been 10 minutes. You just keep
I'm the
talking.
captain.
Okay, so light MAGA, that's like the opposite of Elon's
It's
dark
light
MAGA.
But you know what? I had the pleasure of meeting Antonio Brown at this Pittsburgh voter registration thing on Sunday, and I was wearing my dark MAGA hat, and he took it. He took my hat.
What did
and
you do with it?
he wore it.
Did you call the police?
Well, they wouldn't arrest him. They would have arrested. But that was a bad joke. If anyone really got like the depth of that joke, but no, he wore it, and then he was in the box with Trump at the Steelers game wearing my hat, wearing this dark MAGA hat that was given to me by a friend, and so it wasn't really my hat, but like my hair had been in the hat, so like technically I was like almost in the box with Trump.
Wow.
Try not to be jealous, but I did want to say something about that game, which is I was at that Steelers game for most of it, and they were not panning to Trump. They were not talking about him being there at all. It was so different than the Alabama game. If you remember the videos from that, where the whole it was crazy and they kept shooting over to him. It was as if Trump wasn't in the stadium. Which, I mean, Pittsburgh is dark blue, but there were a lot of MAGA hats in the crowd. But there's something there.
I mean, Pittsburgh is not too far from here, and It is. They got it. There's a university up there, and it was funny. I saw some like flyer posted up near the university out there. Well, I can't remember I don't know what university is it. Pittsburgh. University?
University.
And it was
of
just like
Pittsburgh.
it was like Charlie Kirk is a fascist or something written on it, and he's coming. And I was just like, this is so ridiculous. But a bunch of people I met were like, hey, we're big fans, you know.
Yeah. No, listen, I was wearing a MAGA hat and I get compliments. I get compliments in New York. I was with a friend in the West Village in like the heart of Manhattan last week I was wearing my black MAGA hat with white writing. He was wearing a Boston Red Sox hat, and he got all the hate, all the FUs to that Boston hat, and my MAGA hat got all the love.
Well,
Something is different.
Look, if you wear a Boston hat in New York City, that's. I mean,
Yeah, but what does it mean that in 2020, I was living in New York in 2020, and I didn't wear the hat because I didn't want to be punched in the face, because I was calculating, do I want to go through dental surgery if someone punches me in the face because I'm wearing a MAGA hat? And now all you
won't
get is
happen.
compliments.
Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore. There was a
No.
period, but now people have basically chilled, and I think this is the. That's why we did the show last week where we were talking about Andrew Schultz when he said Trump's going to win a landslide. He did an interview with him. Everyone was giving him the nod. And I'm like, that's the normie people down to earth. We're politicos. We're trapped in this space. We watch the news all day. We know about Kamal. We know about Trump. Regular people who don't pay attention and don't want to pay attention, nodding to you, and you're a comedian and you're like, I don't know nothing about this, but man, everyone loves Trump. That sounds like Trump's going to win.
yep.
Or at least Trump's won the argument. I don't know what the shadow campaign is going to be this time.
You could be right. It doesn't mean you win. That's the hard
Yeah.
thing, right?
Democrats are going to be like, we found ballots on the moon.
The
They're coming back from the space station. Remember they were trapped up there?
Yeah.
We found ballots. We got to bring them down.
And you know who brought them back from space?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Historically, the Democrats have had such a really good ground game, such a really good get out the vote. I don't know whatever you want to call it, but they've been so
Ballot
good at
harvesting.
yes, ballot harvesting, but like the organizing that the left does is significantly better than the organizing that the right has done
100%.
historically. So I'm always concerned with the ability of the Republicans to get the votes out the way that they need to. Seeing the advanced numbers and stuff, I saw Mark Halperin was talking on his podcast that if things keep going the way that things are going, if there's no significant changes, that we'll know that Donald Trump will win on election day, before any of the right when voting starts. That if things continue this way, there won't be any way for the Democrats to come back, which I would love to see clearly. But at the same time, because the Republicans have such a bad history with it, I'm always apprehensive, and I say it on X all the time. You need to go vote. If you can go vote early, go vote early. I voted yesterday. What's today? Tuesday? I voted yesterday. I was in New Hampshire in the morning, cast my vote, already done deal. Go vote. If you can vote early, get it done, get it out of the way. So
That's why it feels like there's a little bit of a false security going around.
yeah.
It's a kind of a psyop, like, oh, he's got it in the bag.
No, he
What
can,
if,
he can always lose.
What if on November 4th, Kamala's walking from a campaign event and then there's like a burning building with a bunch of kids screaming. She runs in and rescues like a bag full of puppies and like 2 small children. And then her polls just jump 50%,
She can't do anything simple well, right? Remember the whole photo op they had with her records? She was walking out of that record store and they're like, what do you have?
Right.
And before they even asked her the question, she's like, oh, look what I got. And she's like already going to answer the question. And no, like, they can't
She
do
knew what
that
it
with
was.
her. Yeah, because she knew what it was.
They said, once you go outside, the press is going to ask you about your records. She's like, okay.
No, now they're like, we're gonna take you to a record. Yeah, because who has time when you're running for president to go buy records? And it's like, all
It was staged.
it was staged.
Yeah, that's the same. All these
Of course.
campaign events are the same thing.
It's like Tim Walz with his
But-
gun. Oh, that was so painful.
I agree. It's fine to say that she's bad at it. I don't care that she goes to the record store. She's just like, she's awkward and she doesn't
She
have the
couldn't
X
get
factor.
Doritos handed to her.
She got extra Doritos because they kept
She got
throwing Doritos at
extra
her.
Doritos.
They
Yeah,
were all trying to throw Doritos at her. I mean, for real,
I feel
that
like she
happened.
must kind of, part of her wants to lose at this point.
she's
Yeah.
probably
You agree?
exhausted.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think.
Like, she
I
doesn't
don't think
want
she
the
wants.
smoke.
I don't think she ever wanted to be president.
Yeah, that's why Michelle Obama was smart, because I was very worried that they were going to be able to convince her to run, because she probably would have won.
Like, Hill Dog wanted it so bad. And she's
Dog was
so mad it's not
thirsty.
her. But Kamala she doesn't really want to win.
I don't think so.
She could take it or leave it.
I think.
It shows.
I think she's just like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why she can't really answer questions. Oh man, that Fox interview when Brett Baer was just like, 70% of people say the country's on the wrong track. Why is that? She's like, well, Donald Trump is running. And he's like, what? She's like, you know what I mean. And he's like, no, I don't.
He's like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no
what you
idea.
mean.
Well, she
No
fell back.
idea.
She went back to what she was used to, which is the people that are doing the interview will bail her out. And she was hoping that Bret Baier was going to do that as well. And thankfully, he's not, a shill the way that ABC and NBC and CBS and everyone else has kind of been for her. But you saw that's really what was on display. She kind of was floundering, and she was like, well, I don't really have an answer, so I'm just going to go ahead and be like, hey, throw me a lifeline. And Bret Baier's like, sorry, sister, you're on your own.
Indeed. No one's saying anything.
I was gonna
We're
make
waiting
it.
on you.
I was debating if I
Hey.
can make a joke, but it wasn't very family friendly about the kind of job she used to do to get this job. So
We could say that for the members only show.
for the members only.
Where we will enjoy gentle musings about Kamala Harris's sordid past.
You definitely don't want to miss that.
Gentle. We're going to go to Super Chats. If you
what I
haven't
was
already,
expecting.
smash the like button, subscribe to the show, share it with everyone you know. Head over to timcast.com, click join us to support our work, and you'll get access to our Discord server where you can hang out with like-minded individuals. And it's really cool to see everybody in the Discord. They do shows there. They have their own shows. They have their own projects. People are teaming up. Community is one of the most important things. The founding fathers would go to pubs and they'd sit down and they'd hang out and they'd be like, we want independence. And they'd be like, you're right. If they weren't able to actually come together, share their ideas, we'd never have a country. And that's why the First Amendment protects the right to peaceably assemble. It wasn't always about people like to say Antifa running through the street and smashing things. It's a First Amendment, man, we can protest. Peaceably assemble. They were saying, if we the people get together to discuss grievances against the crown or the government, you can't stop us. We can speak, we can meet. Well, the government has been infringing, but we are pushing back. So we got this Discord server where you could hang out with a bunch of people. That's step one. You might have an idea for a project. You might meet somebody and get that project off the ground. And then additionally, you can call into the members show and talk to us and our guests. So timcast.com, be a member. And leave us a good rating if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Just give us 5 stars and say, we love the show. Let's go. All right. So there have been so many super chats that YouTube has begun deleting many of them. So we'll just try and read what we can. We've got Michael Cooper who says, snobs like Patrick Bat David love to crap on West Virginians. God forbid that someone wants to invest in somewhere that isn't Austin or Miami. Did he crap on West Virginia?
I didn't hear anything about
I
that.
haven't seen this.
Well, that's a drag.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I'm not sure. The unlubricated salmon says, congrats on both the wedding and the kiddo. I've been hoping this day would come for a few years now, and I am stoked. Consider this a little something to help get some baby clothes. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Got a bunch of texts, as it were, from all the big fans and friends of the show saying congratulations. Really do appreciate the support. All right. Gwadlook says, Tim, if I remove the cover of my pillow, is the adjustable fill all that remains?
Wow, that was well
Excuse me.
said.
Fun. The
Excellently
adjustable
crafted
fill of the
question.
my pillow.
Oh,
all that
yes.
I'm
remains.
thinking about a Phil Labonte body pillow, and it's.
Oh, don't think about
That's
that.
hot.
You
ish.
think that's hot?
That's
Hot-ish.
Maybe there's a
we'll
market
make the
for
merch.
this.
But I mean, look,
Maybe
you want to
there's a
make
market for this.
you
You
want to
can
market a Phil Labonte My Pillow body pillow.
Yeah.
I will
Like
not.
the anime version of you.
Big hands.
Devin Porter says, Tim, congrats on the family. I'm your age, but I fear I've missed my opportunity. In other news, I think Cask Brew would have an easier launch in airports. I'm a millwork draftsman and have produced many coffee shops and airports. Have you considered it? I mean, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I would also say, I don't think you've missed your opportunity. Sounds like you're, interested, and you should. But that's another big consideration for us. We've wanted to do this for a long time, but we run a company. I mean, we're working all the time, both of us. And so we are trying to figure out how to make time to be able to have a family. And we decided we're just going to not have the time and just force it. I guess.
Everybody that I hear talking about kids, they're like, "Look, there's never a right time. You never have people make all kinds of excuses.
Well,
you don't
but
have enough
real
money or
quick,
whatever."
I'm not saying that we are waiting for the right time. We wanted to do this a while ago. The issue was there was no time because we're working 16-hour days running a company, and so I've been talking about it's a spiritual suicide in my opinion to not have a family, and so I certainly think we had to figure out what we're going to do. But I think we're looking at some options, and I think scaling back a bit is one thing that's going to help make it all possible. But that means we'll still be able to do. I'll do the morning show and Timcast IRL still, and then we're pursuing strategic investment, and then basically making the company move to the next level. We've got some good moves coming. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go. Dad's cigarette run says, so are we not going to talk about Phil's shirt? Or are we going to talk about Phil's shirt?
It's sick.
What is it?
I
Sorry that
just
you don't
said
have
this
any-
the other day. I was so jealous of your shirt.
All Saints?
It's just a striped shirt, and people apparently have opinions on it. I mean, it looks great. I know if you don't think it looks great, you have bad taste. I'm confident in how sick my shirt is, and I don't care if you like it or not.
Adam Smith said, if Macca's dropped gluten-free keto buns, they would do well. Love me a quarter pounder, but don't need the carbs. I agree.
Ugh.
I completely agree. If the problem with a lot of the look, you'd have to do an almond bun, because here's what you do: you take almond flour, you put an egg in it, you put it in the microwave, and it turns into a light biscuit, and you can make sandwiches with it. It's pretty good. That's keto. It's good. It's got fiber. It's got vitamins. Almonds real good for you. I wouldn't want to do any of that psyllium husk or whatever it is, the weird things they do for keto bread. I'm not interested in whatever that is.
Rice flour is okay.
No, rice flour is
not keto.
massively carb. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe McDonald's can just be normal.
I was gonna say, why don't we just keep McDonald's,
Keep McDonald's, yeah.
and make America great again?
I mean, I could
McDonald's.
Here's what I'll do. I'll go to McDonald's. I actually want to do this.
Keep
and I'll get
McDonald's
a couple burgers, but then I'll throw the buns away and I'll make almond buns for myself, and no one has to worry about anything.
Yeah, I toss the buns. It's kind of a waste, but
You get you get a ramekin. You put the almond flour and the egg in it. You put it in the microwave, and it fluffs up. And then you cut it. And I make egg
I will say
sandwiches
bread,
with bacon.
but bread is the killer in this country. I do think RFK being a part of a Trump admin is really exciting, and this is actually how I think maybe we get some of the girlies to vote for Trump, because if you could, all these like celiac girls in this country, if they were told that they could have pasta and bread the way that you can when you go to Italy,
Vote Trump.
vote
less
Trump.
I heard him
tummy
talking about
vote Trump. Fewer
Roundup.
tummy aches, ladies.
That's a lot of that what gluten intolerance is coming from,
Yeah.
according to him, Roundup, which they'll spray on crops, which is Monsanto's glyphosate, is a herbicide, and then they'll use it as a desiccant before they harvest to dry all that stuff out. It's just
Yo, this
that out of
super
the
chat
food
here
supply.
got Ian good. Look at this mystical goat. He got you, Ian. He says Ian puts graphene in coffee.
not true.
got you.
Mystical goat. It's not true. Never have I done that.
We went back to the studio yesterday because this one wasn't working, and there's little mushrooms all over where Ian used to sit.
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah, yesterday.
little
Thank you for
glass
having me
mushrooms.
on as the first guest of the canceled podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is. Timcast canceled.
I didn't know if I was showing up to the West Virginia and nothing was going to
Looking
be here.
You took a risk.
All right. Trey Wooble says some rich guy had high cholesterol and blamed McDonald's because they used tallow for their fries. He sued until they changed oils. Demons exist. Whoa.
That doesn't sound real.
I heard Outback does tallow. Is that true?
I don't know.
Heard that? I like Outback.
Yeah.
Those big onions are great. But I don't want the carbs anyway. So
And I have not even eaten out at all. I can't.
Yeah,
without
I
knowing
cook
what
at
it
home
was.
as much as I can.
I just eat wings. It's like the only thing
You
I eat.
can't do
Wings are
wings at home.
so
Wings out
good.
are really good. Yeah.
I haven't eaten anything today. Today I had for breakfast every day. I have 2-egg omelet with goat cheese and avocado, and a protein shake.
And that's all you had today?
All I had today.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to eat something. Well, I just work.
Is there anything else in your body?
It
Do you have
says
like
Outback
caffeine?
uses pure beef tallow.
Wow.
Outback does.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Outback is based. And butter. You know what really, really makes me angry? Every single breakfast place you go to, they don't use real butter.
Yeah.
They spray the grill with that
Yeah.
nasty spray.
Yeah.
There's Martinsburg Family Diner out here has real butter. I doubt they use real butter on the grill. I don't know, but they give you real butter for your food. And I'm like, that's it. I'm not going anywhere else. And I hate to be a dick. There's some really nice little diners run by some little families out here in West Virginia, and they hand you butter, and it's soy hydrogenated salt, garbage. And I'm like, I'm not eating that. It's not food.
That's why everyone has low T and everyone's infertile. That's why.
No hydrogenated oils. I want whipped butter.
Yeah.
Whipped butter. Just
Butter's awesome.
you got to butter. You got to butter your bacon.
Heavy cream, and you just put it in a mixer in a bowl.
Keto.
Butter the bacon?
Butter the bacon.
Butter and bacon.
You just got to butter your bacon.
Dude, it's nice to eat just a piece of butter every once in a while. If you're not getting it in your diet, it is so good for you.
That
base-
is a little too much for me.
Cut off a little chunk.
Too much for me.
Base,
But
Be
keto,
surprised how good you
people need to
feel.
understand keto is high fat. And
Yes.
I say it a lot because a lot of people are like, I'm doing keto. I'm going to order the steak. And I'm like, okay, well, you need fat. So you need like sour cream, avocado, heavy cream, something. Otherwise, you're not doing keto.
Baste your steak with butter.
Oh, that's a given. Herb butter.
Tons of
You get a filet
butter in
mignon.
there.
Okay, you filet mignon with herb butter. You know, we speak like regular people on the show. We're not French. Filet mignon. Let's go. All right. Hitman says, boo, liberal Ian being a liberal. Boo, he hates fun.
I definitely don't hate fun. I'm almost obsessed with it.
Did I start a trend? We're gonna boo Ian now.
No.
I feel bad.
Don't feel badly. Do you remember that whole conversation we had before?
Yeah, now that you remind me, it's not so bad.
All right. YO Fett says, Tim and crew, Tulsi Gabbard just announced she is joining the Republican Party at the Trump rally in North Carolina. Here. That is based. We need good Republicans. The Democrats are bad. The Republicans are almost entirely bad, but there's a handful of good Republicans, so the more the better. The more the better. That's great too, because Tulsi's moderate, you know, and so she's shifting in the right direction in terms of like guns and energy. I respect that. All right, Rock and Roll says first time super chat, but long time fan. Maybe part of the solution to ease your burden is to, we could have we have Phil here. So the goal for Phil was to have him be able to pick up shows when I'm not able to do it.
What if it came down to the point where the only guy in the studio is Phil and he's like, I am all that remains?
Indeed,
That joke is so played out, but that'd be hilarious.
You know, I'm not going to beat up anybody about it. I'm not going to give anyone crap about it, but.
Tryon54 says, congratulations, Allison. It's about time, Tim. Will there be baby hair products on the register? Also, has Allison authorized a beanie for the altar? I don't believe so. I don't know about baby hair products or whatever, but people are putting hashtag beanie baby.
Aw.
That is a trademark.
That's really cute.
You're probably going to get about 1 million little beanies for gifts.
Baby beanies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't squeeze that guy's head. Let his brain grow.
Okay.
Or girl, I don't know.
Yeah. It is a girl.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. James Marshall says, first time super chat. Just want to say thanks for the amazing show and congrats. I'll support Timcast no matter how it airs. Thank you again. Well, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the support over here. Basically, every single super chat is just basically saying the same thing. So I don't know if I want to, I appreciate all the super chats and support. Let's see. Let's try and find a super chat. Barrett says, this is for Phil and a nod to Mary and PCC. I still have custom leather jackets I want to give you. I'm exceptionally glad to see Mary M. and Phil.
What is this? Leather jackets?
Custom leather jackets.
Oh, sweet.
There's no P.O. box, so I don't know.
I might get
I was
a
thinking
P.O.
about
box just to
spinning
get
one
that.
up.
You're going to start the P.O.
If
box?
I go get a P.O. box.
I got a message about some sweet band T-shirts with you guys, you in it, me in it, that they want to send to it somewhere too. We should set up something, even if it's an independent box.
Send me a DM on the old X, and I'll get you the P.O. box.
Nice.
Space Panda. The only whale of a conspiracy there is where Seamus is hiding all of your spoons.
Where is Seamus hiding in general? I want to know.
He's gone.
Did he leave town?
He's gone.
He skipped this shit.
He's coming back.
Good.
He will be back soon.
Coughlin.
And he will then make jokes. You know, I just want to say Seamus is very funny. We were hanging out here over the weekend and we watched this really awful movie. And then Seamus, he's like, like the whole time we're watching it, Seamus is making jokes. And then I would say like Seamus would make 90% of, he would make a joke and contribute 90% of the fun and laughter. I'd throw in about 10% on top. I'm just trying to say like me and him are riffing, but it's all him basically. As soon as he's like, okay, we're going to get out of here. We put on another movie that was actually good, but we were bored. Because when Seamus was sitting there, it was like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or whatever.
Seamus is hilarious.
Where he was just mocking the film. And so it made this terrible film hilarious to watch. And I was like, dude, we got to do like a film companion podcast with Seamus Coughlin. Where we just like, hey, everybody, we're going to watch this movie. Press play now. And then you watch the movie and then you're listening to Seamus make jokes. Yeah. Dude, I got to say, shout out to Seamus because it was painful. It hurt. We were laughing so hard. And it was like, this movie was just really bad. I don't want to say what movie it is because I feel bad for the people who made it.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
But it was really long. It was like 2 hours and it was awful. And it's new and it's on Amazon or whatever.
No, put it on blast. I want to know now.
Oh, now I gotta know.
I don't want to put them on blast. That doesn't mean.
I get.
You know, because like then I'm going to
They're good people.
I don't know. They're trying their best. You know what I mean?
Is it just like a generic movie? Or-
Yeah, kind of. And it was like the plot made no sense and it was all over the place. And I feel bad because like, you know, these people made a movie and they were probably really proud of it and they're probably really excited to be in it. And then it's on Amazon.
But before the show, we were talking about how America needs more bullying and we need to bring bullying back. Right?
Good bullying.
Snaps.
Good
If I
bullying.
could snap, I would snap. Right
But yeah, but we need to bring bullying
Can't
back.
snap your fingers?
now. I can't.
Wow.
I can stab with my left hand, but not with my right. Not effectively.
I don't know.
See,
I'm not doing
that
it
is
right.
good bullying.
Your middle finger.
Middle finger. No. But that's good bullying, right? But America's filled with all these like low T soy beta guys and jihadi Janes because no one ever bullied them.
Okay, the movie was called For Sale.
Never heard of it.
It's about a guy who's like, he's a car salesman and he rips people off and then he gets fired because he rips off the government. So then he tries to sell a house, but the house is haunted. And it's just like the haunting takes place during the day. And we're like, what is it? This is weird.
It can't be spooky if it's
And then
daylight.
for no reason, he brings this woman as a psychic in and then he just kills her for no reason. And then he's like, oh no, what have I done?
Don't spoil it now because a lot of people are going to go watch it and you actually might have done them a favor.
Yeah.
For sale. Check it out.
But think about it. This is like if you didn't say this, that's like it would be like the participation trophy equivalent of movies, you know?
Yeah.
Like we need standards in this country.
No, but I'll tell you this. The movie is the best movie I've ever seen, so long as Seamus is his comment. Like, if they did a Seamus commentary cut where like the volume's turned down and you're listening to Seamus talk about it, then it's the best movie ever. Yeah, because then you're just like laughing the whole time. It's a comedy. That's the way to do it. Seamus got to make that channel.
Come on,
We
Seamus.
got to make that channel. We have to bring bullying back to America.
Mystery Seamus Theater 3000.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good. Blake says, Tim, thanks for staying in the fight and keeping IRL alive. You're the guy I watch for most of my politics, and I really enjoy your opinions. Keep up the fight. Well, don't forget, there's also youtube.com/TimcastNews, which is the morning show. I put up 6 clips per day, and I'm just monologuing on that one. Let's go. Russian Colluder says, Ian, please don't stare at the sun. Look into red light therapy instead. It slows macular degeneration. It also helps heal wounds.
That's
yes,
really
long live the king.
interesting. Long live the king. What are you talking about? Yeah, red light therapy. Different than radiation therapy. It's just actual literal red light. I used to live in a room with a red light on 24/7 in Los
Are
Angeles.
you a lizard? What?
I don't think so.
It's like sounds like a
sure.
terrarium.
It was wild. It was
Ham's-
like it could change the colors, but I chose red.
Ham sandwiches, sun gazing is ancient. Kings are ancient. Ian needs to pick a lane.
Wait a minute. That's called a fallacy.
Rain says, send Ian to the podcast of the Lotus Eaters. Yes.
I would love to go out there.
Yeah, we should. Would they have you on, you think?
I'm sure.
Do they
Carl
do
and I are tight.
guests?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They would have
Carl's a
guests.
good friend. We're big fans of the Lotus Eaters. I do think it'd be a really interesting to have you.
Oh, I would love to fly. I've never really spent time in England. I don't think I've ever actually been to England. I've been to Ireland.
He's going to show up and the king's going to be waiting at the airport.
It'd be great. He's like, we're glad you've come.
With the
Follow me, and he's got 2 guards next to him. I'm like, oh,
Nah, they're gonna
what
like-
choice do I have?
He's going to be like, this is how everyone in Britain lives. And he's going to take him on this amazing luxury vacation and be like, when you're a subject to the king, you have everything
You're
you've ever
free to do
desired.
as you please. Well, thank you for telling me that. Thank you for authorizing my ability to be free.
Luke
I don't
Schmidt
need that in the
says,
United States.
Ian is 100% correct about the sun. Getting natural light into your eyes first thing when the sunrise is vital to your being. You obviously don't look directly into the sun. Do more research.
Yeah, you don't ever want to focus your eyes on the sun because it can burn your retinas. But gazing towards the sun is like an ancient practice. It actually feels really good if you're doing it right.
You know,
I once went outside and it was raining and Ian was looking straight up with his mouth open and his mouth filled with water.
That might have been no, not that part. That wasn't true. I was gazing at the sun today, but I'll do it with my eyes closed a lot of times. You can still get a lot of the benefit.
right. But I've heard you're not supposed to wear sunglasses when you're in the sun because it's your eyes tell your brain
Yeah.
that you're in the sun, and so I've been trying not to do my sunglasses.
I've stopped with them.
Yeah, I basically don't unless I'm driving and like really
And
can't.
a lot of times I'll go out and it'll be like, oh, the sun's so bright, the sun's so bright. But if I just point my head towards it for a little bit, I'll sneeze a couple times and then it's not so bright. And I can just live normal outside.
David Ray says, you'd better have a good guest for my birthday on Thursday. Oh, you know, I don't think I have the guest list pulled up. Who's on Thursday? Danny Polishchuk? That's a good guest. It's going to be very funny. And then Ryan's next week, I think.
Wow, David Ray, no commentary on the current guest. Just thinking about Thursday. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's not his birthday today. He didn't say, thank you for getting a good guest, not on my birthday. Right? Oi.
You
All
asked
right.
for it.
Tiffany Nichols says, babies sleep at 7 p.m. You don't have a choice. They follow the sun. The pod starts at 8 p.m. Cancel your morning show instead and spend the days with the baby. Or we'll do both and just make it work. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. That's what you got to do. You got to do it.
Dude, the baby's going to learn all about
That's right.
politics.
Oh, this
Sitting on
baby's
your
going to
lap.
be like a chess playing ninja wizard.
Teach kids the chess. I've been watching a lot of chess masters. They start learning really young.
You know what I realized? Alice and I were talking about this. Poker actually is a really great game for kids.
It is. It is.
It's teaching basic numbers.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Like my
taking
3
risks.
beats your 2. I win. You know?
My brother had a poker ring in kindergarten.
Really?
Well, yeah, but he actually got the kids bringing in real money.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And then they told him they could play with fake money. So he folded the game because he was like, what's the point?
Ooh. Well, I agree. What's the point, you
Based
know?
brother.
Trying to play a game of
Based
poker with some
tough.
babies and win some money over here, huh?
It's like Rugrats.
Great show, by the way.
Great show.
All right. Jeremy Love says, Ian is 100% right from someone that lives it. The governor general can remove the prime minister if wanted. Look at Canada right now. The governor general is wielding power. The governor general is the royal's hand in government.
Yeah, the governor general is appointed by the king at the king's pleasure and can be taken away at the king's pleasure. So he's basically the king's dirty man, the guy that goes in and does the dirty work for the king. So the king's like, I didn't do it.
I really wish you hadn't chosen that comment.
He had to give me one.
Francis Castillo says, congratulations on the baby. Been an avid viewer from the Philippines since 2019. You guys keep me updated in U.S. politics and culture as everything happening there is there, good or bad, seems to affect us. Thanks, Tim, cast and crew. Really do appreciate it.
And guest, you're welcome.
All right.
I feel like you own a shirt that just says me.
Ulvin McGoth says, McGag, make America goth again? But that's still MAGA.
It's still MAGA.
It's still MAGA. Make America goth
Is it
again. It's still
MAGA or
MAGA.
MAGA?
Talking about you.
MAGA?
Gag.
No.
Oh, God.
Is it mana or mana?
Well, I used to call it mana. And then
Everyone-
they were like, no, it's mana, Ian. Secret of mana. It's not secret of mana.
What are we talking? What?
In Magic,
Gathering.
the card game they were playing earlier, you
just-
tap cards for mana.
It doesn't need to be magic.
It's mana.
Mana?
It's mana from heaven.
That game you were playing when I walked
Yeah.
in?
Maybe it's a mix like mana, or something like that.
Mana?
You know,
I always said mana.
mana.
Everyone I knew said mana.
Mana.
Mana is a term in any kind of spiritual or magical reference that basically means energy.
That's what we called it in the beginning. Was mana,
magic power.
And someone came along and was
Okay.
like,
Life
"No,
force.
it's mana," and I was like, "I don't know."
Probably comes from mana.
I
From
call it a
heaven.
cat.
So that's why
I'm
I say
from
MAGA.
Northern Ohio.
You say MAGA?
because,
Well, not MAGA.
yeah, and then everyone was like, Tim, you're wrong. It's MAGA.
MAGA.
It's definitely less but I think it depends on where you're from. I've heard people say it both ways.
Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, Tim, did you actually skate in Trump's golden shoes? The video is on X.
No, it's
Not AI.
just like all your other skating videos.
Yeah, it was.
He walked by earlier. He was like, "How you, Ian? How's it going?"
Look at
He,
this.
Like,
This
looked
was-
down at
this
his
was
shoes. I was like,
5 kickflips
Oh, wow.
and 5 kickflips, and the gold. After 1 kickflip, the gold was gone.
snap.
The laces are made of foam rubber, so they're shredding instantly. The laces are made of foam rubber. It's crazy.
Look
You
at
can't
those
tie them.
shoes. Trump is so gangster. Like, look at that shoe.
So we're gonna have. So I did a couple kickflips, which is this, and then I did a nollie hard flip. We posted the nollie hard flip. We're gonna have a couple pro skateboarders do some tricks in them tomorrow, and then I'm gonna ask them to sign the shoes, and then we're gonna.
"Ooh, cool."
Yeah. So it's like, you may think it is disrespectful to scuff the shoes with skateboarding. No. We're going to do a handful of tricks so that they're marked by these legends of skateboarding, and then have their signatures on it, and they'll be even better.
Oh yeah.
These are actually really good. It's crazy. So I thought they were going to be like pretty bad. And I'm like, you're going to get them. You're going to put them on. You're going to be like, yeah, it's like, you're not supposed to wear them. And then they slide on like butter. They're very comfortable. And look, I skate a lot. You got to break shoes in. Skating in a brand new pair of shoes, they can be too grippy. You got to move them a little bit. These were perfect. Perfect. I put them on for the first time, and I was like, wow, they're actually really
MAGA
good.
movement glow up. Like, remember the original MAGA hats? How funky they look. They look like those little. They were very floppy and large, and they look like clown hats. Kind of. They were really silly. And now the current like you forget what they looked like. It was the thinner font. It was smaller, thinner hat, like very wide, almost like there should be one of those spinny things on top. It looked really silly. Yeah. And now the hats are good. The shoes are good.
Yeah, and so I think we're trying to make something that's more than just the Trump sneaker. You know, we're gonna.
I like Make America Great Ian Crossland, which is magic. I'm gonna pitch Trump.
I love
That is magic. You should make a hat.
Magic.
Make America Great Ian Crossland.
Yeah, I'll sell those on my website.
Comma.
Get ready. Merch coming.
Magic. Indeed. All right. We'll grab a couple more here. Joshua Sabedra says, longtime viewer, first time chat. Thanks for committing to spread the truth. My in-laws are currently fighting an Amber Heard-style divorce and custody battle for their 4 grandkids. He's a victim of Believe All Women. Ooh, that's terrible. That is sad. 101 Scooby says, I'll vote for Beanie Baby in 2060. Yes,
Cool.
Indeed. First female president then, if that's the case. One more. We'll grab one more. Brepzak. Tim, congrats. My wife gave birth to our second child this weekend. A beautiful baby girl. Kids are the way. Definitely make time for them. We all love you, but you need to take time for your family. Indeed, I really do appreciate it and intend to.
Yeah, you're gonna get the choice of like, wow, I'm the rich businessman that has to choose, like, gets to pick now, like, your family, and like you'll get to be the guy who's like, my family was first, man. And then you have this, all the money and the fame and the job and all that, but like the kids.
I was thinking of going the route when she's a little older and she walks in the room and she's like, Dad, can you show me? And I go, oh, it's in here again. And then, that's a Family Guy joke. I'm stealing a Family Guy joke. Yeah. Family Guy joke. All right, everybody. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with everyone you know. Leave us a good review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or any other podcast platform. Become a member by going to timcast.com and clicking join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. The members only show will be starting up in a few minutes. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Arynne, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at nonlibtake or on X at Arynne Wexler. I'm not good at marketing, so there are 2 different handles. But if you search for Arynne anywhere, Arynne, you'll find me.
Right on.
You can find me on Pop Culture Crisis. We're going live on YouTube tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, and I hope to see you there.
You hit me up at Ian Crossland, really all over the place. Message me on Discord if you want to get personal. Just message me in general. I stream live very frequently, so follow me on YouTube, X, and Twitch. And shout out to you in the super chats and in the comments. Very entertaining. I want more. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys on Discord. So join the Discord, timcast.com. Become a member. Join the Discord and meet us up. We'll talk later. See ya.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. I'm Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can check us out on the old YouTubes. Check out our new videos for No Tomorrow, Let You Go, and Divine. And don't forget, The Left Lane is for crime.
We will see you all over at timcast.com in about a minute. Thanks for hanging out.